baby!
That's one way, yes.
One way to get it going. Got to get that energy level up. We got to get excited because High Rollers D&D is back. We're back, baby! After a 2-week little break, we're back. And
back on the menu.
Dungeons and Dragons. We're back on the menu. I'm your Dungeon Master, Mark Sherlock Humes. And joining me, as always, my delightful friends, my longtime compatriots, my prisoners, my precious fellow D&Ders, these guys.
What?
We got...
Prisoners comment?
Shh, quiet you. We got Rhiannon, we got Tom, we got Katie, we got Trot, we got Kim. How big's the head, Tom?
24 inches.
24 inches.
Why are you doing it in Imperial?
That's what you're measuring.
No.
62 centimeters, baby.
Bam. There you go. Wait. Now we all know the size of Tom's head. Marvelous.
Get your Tom X masks ready to go. You've got your dimensions. Get the
there you go.
get the silicone out. Here we go.
You can start sending Tom hats to wear. All sorts of things.
You want a 3D mold of this guy?
All from a head measurement.
Clearly wants that. Yeah.
Yeah. Terrifying. Welcome to the most professional D&D stream on the internet. That's us, as you can tell by our wonderful intros.
There's certainly far worse.
There's certainly far worse. Is there? Wait, hang on. What did you just say? Trot, I don't think you realized what you just said.
I did.
Oh, okay. Well, he's in a mood. All right. Well, obviously every D&D stream out there is marvelous, and Chris Trot does not represent the values of High Rollers, so we're just going to move on.
We're the best.
Yeah,
he's right.
Exactly. There. Thanks. Perfect. We have got a couple of little announcements to do before we get into the recap and playing some D&D, but we'll get to that in a second. First things first, Chris Trot, master of opinions and putting his foot in his mouth, is going to tell us all about this week's sponsors, D&D Beyond and Mag of Holding. Chris Trot, take it away.
Correct. Penny Dragon Games, as you can see in chat, is here with us again for a brand new installment for the Mag of Holding. Congratulations. The Kickstarter is live right now. It's already funded, so there is no worries that you're not going to get the stuff that is here. They've been so kind to sponsor us in the past. You may remember their Pirates and Seafaring installment that we showcased last time. Well, now they're back with a vengeance, as they'll be supporting the next 4 episodes. So I've got plenty of time to deep dive into this new installment, the Gothic Horror. Gothic Horror. Gothic Horror, that was.
Horror.
Thanks.
Horror.
Here it is.
Gothic Horror.
So today I'll give a brief overview. You can explore the tropes of the Gothic horror genre, battle terrifying monsters in several new frightening adventures, discover a new subclass for warlocks, a new feat for those who want to whip it. That was given to me. And a new backgrounds built for horror settings as well. Oh! And for fans of the previous Mag of Holdings, did we mention that our mysterious gnome, Gizcog, is putting an appearance as well? This time he has an array of items, some of which may or may not be cursed. So yes, if you like the horror tropes, this Gothic horror installment may be the one for you. We know we like the horror. We have a whole...
big fan of horror.
Exactly.
I am a
Spooky
horror.
time, too. It's perfect time.
Like
It's a
their
spooky time.
previous installment, really cool artwork, really cool stuff.
Master.
Look at that. Look at this. It's just really cool. And you should definitely support...
Simon Belmont is here.
And it's the month of spooks, so... What other way to celebrate than to maybe run a little campaign with the Mag of Holding Gothic Horror as your inspiration? Add that to your GM arsenal. So yes, thank you very much, Penny Dragon Games, for that.
Perfect little addition if you're running Curse of Strahd.
Shut up your arsenal.
And they're thrown in some gift subs as well. Thank you very much, Penny Dragon Games.
Thank you.
Sponsoring the episode.
Thank you very
some
much.
gift subs. I love it.
Brilliant.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much, Penny Dragon Games. Again, make sure you check the links in chat. As I always say this, use the links in our chat, use the links in the video description or in the podcast, because by clicking that link, you are showing that you came to the site via us. It's like a way to indicate that our sponsorship for that product was successful. So please make sure you use it. But also, Chris Trot, tell us about D&D Beyond.
Hey, D&D Beyond, once again sponsoring us, and it's National Hispanic Heritage Month, and D&D Beyond are actually celebrating the occasion, and there's a really awesome article that you should all check out on dndbeyond.com right now that is highlighting certain content creators, and I feel it's important to be inclusive, as we always try to be, so that's also nice that D&D Beyond is doing the same thing, so please check that out. Then, of course, you'll realize that you're on the greatest digital tool set ever created for D&D 5th edition, and you'll soon see that you can actually create a character or two for free using the basic rule set to see just how easy and fast it is to do so. And then perhaps you'll notice that every source book and adventure book is also available on that site, lovely formatted for D&D Beyond, and interactive with stat blocks and stuff that you can roll dice from with a powerful search engine. And then no doubt you'll want to explore the multitude of other features like the 3D dice roller, the campaign management, the encounter builder, the combat tracker, many more. And you'll realize you can never leave, and you're one of us now, and that's okay because you're here and you're safe in the best hands, and you can never leave because doing so would be bad.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, D&D Beyond. You're safe now. Remember that. You're safe, children. Safe in the warm embrace of D&D Beyond. One thing I didn't realize that Wild Beyond the Witchlight is now available on D&D Beyond. So if you want to grab the latest D&D Adventure series, I've actually had a chance to actually read through it. And it's really interesting. If you don't know anything about Wild Beyond the Witchlight, it is one of the first D&D campaign modules that you can actually play through without having to resolve everything with violence. It's very much built in a way that you can kind of role play your way through most of the encounters in it. It's got a really good... I was very impressed by the setup for the campaign and how much variety there is in it. It's definitely more whimsical. If you're not big into whimsy, it might not be your thing, but it's certainly from a dungeon master's perspective, I recommend checking it out because there's a lot of like interesting approaches to that. And the perfect place to do that is, of course, via D&D Beyond, where you can just get it all digitally. And yeah, you should check that out. So yeah, thank you very much, D&D Beyond and Penny Dragon Games. Please do check the links in the video, in the Twitch chat and on the video description to check out both of our lovely sponsors and do that. Couple of other quick things. Katie, do you want to give us a little reminder about merch?
Yes, I prepared for this.
Oh.
Hi, we have merch.
Sarcasm. That was sarcasm.
Right, on to the intro.
Every week I'm going to ask, if there's merch, I'm going to ask you about it.
There is still merch. So our latest drop was the Clear Skies cropped hoodie and t-shirt, which is unisex. And then we've got our tie-dye t-shirt, very comfy, very soft, and our long sleeve Storm Chasers baseball t-shirt. So if you want to rep that. We've still got Starbane coffee mugs. The pins are some of them are out of stock. We've still got a couple left of some of them, but yeah, those are not going to be
Reynard's free though.
Reynard's free.
Juto's gone. Reynard's free.
Oh wow. I feel like Tom's
Trot, you
not going to be very pleased right now. But yeah, so go and grab our beautiful new t-shirts. They're very soft and comfy. And grab a Reynard pin, please.
Grab a Reynard pin, please.
He's limited edition. He's limited edition.
No, for serious though, merch is like another really good one. We like promoting the merch because it's a way that you can support us and have a thing for
he's dead.
He's dead. You
can buy a pin.
Just as a note,
longer than him.
In our hearts, maybe not.
In our hearts.
We will have some new stuff coming up around Christmas. The stuff that we have at the moment, the t-shirts are they're not part of our Prime collection, so it's a case of when
limited.
They are gone. They are gone. Once we release the new stuff, we will be taking that stuff down. And of course, we love Reynard. I'm being stupid.
Oh, everyone does.
Fucking this guy is like railing it in.
Oh my god.
Anyway, moving on. As I said, merch is definitely a way that you can support us, but you get something from it as well. And we love doing cool merch items. We've got, again, Katie will slap my wrists really hard if I talk too much, but I'm very excited about our products coming up. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just saying I'm excited about a thing that we have coming up. That's what I'm excited about.
We've got a lot of cool stuff.
I think We did the Quill plushie this year, and I think we were all really happy with producing like different things and cool things. And the more merch that we sell, the more cool things we can do in the future. So that's another one. Another couple of very quick things, these ones. First of all, I wanted to say a big thank you to, we did D&D Celebration last week. Myself, Kim, and Ree. Kim did a couple of games. Me, Kim, and Ree all also joined in with the Ox Venture crew. If you're familiar with Ox Venture, it's Outside Xbox's little D&D show that they do. Not a little, it's quite a big D&D show, actually. They do like events like MCM Comic Con. They do a podcast and stuff of. I wanted to say thank you to Johnny, Luke, and Andy for joining us for that. It was very, very silly. It was very funny. We got to play Sentry, Nova, and Rose Meadow. Hanging out with those guys. It was a very silly, ridiculous adventure. And Kim also got to join Jeremy and the folks at Three Black Halflings for a stream as well on the Sunday. And I just wanted to say thank you to those guys, because like Jeremy specifically reached out and wanted to work with High Rollers, and specifically, you know, wanted to work with Kim and the Ox Venture crew. That was like a little thing that we'd been sort of like brewing in the background for a while. It was really cool to get to do that. And yeah, it was an awesome little D&D celebration. Lots of news coming out of that one as well. Always nice to be involved in that stuff and have like our little... People tip the little hat to High Rollers. And then the last thing, I want to remind folk...
Just super quick. So if you missed the one shot that I did, sorry, Mark. One, I played Shadow Beyond the Veil. And two, we're actually getting together to record a little follow-up, because as the nature of one shots, it was very rushed towards the end. We've actually planned to get together and record a little bit more. So there will be a little bit more to it as well.
Awesome.
Wow.
Amazing.
Bonus.
That's super awesome. That's very lovely.
I just found my favorite pin.
If you haven't checked out Three Black Halflings podcast and show, yeah, you should go and do that. Jeremy seems a very lovely chap. Very cool world.
Excellent.
One thing I want to mention is subscription. I really want to get to playing D&D. Subscriptions.
I'm really annoyed that I did that. I have them all in pristine condition.
Different kinds of subscriptions. Twitch subscriptions. If you've got Amazon Prime, you get a free Twitch subscription. You should subscribe to the channel to get emotes. People in chat, show off some of the cool emotes people can get, please. Use your Amazon Prime to subscribe to that. You missed out on September, but you should still subscribe anyway. And then also, YouTube subscriptions. We are so frustratingly less than 1,000 subs to 100k.
Please.
We're so close on the YouTube
Just
channel.
want some plaques to put on our shelves.
We just want the plaques. We just
want
want
the plaques.
Please.
And that's it. We've finished High Rollers. That's it.
Right there.
Yeah, that's it. Game is completed.
Yeah.
Like, that's the end game,
Look at
right?
all this blank space
100K
I've
plaque.
got.
Yeah,
For a
exactly.
plaque.
I don't
need-
get
I'll get rid of that. I'll put it there. Yeah.
So yeah, subscribe here on Twitch and on YouTube, please. Just click that button. Perfect. Thanks. Look at that. Less
If
than
you
900.
subscribe, the plaque will replace my face. There you go.
Anyway, enough of that. That's it. Unless there's anything I've forgotten, that's it for announcements and stuff. I would very much like to get to playing some D&D now. Unless there's anything I've forgotten to mention.
No, I think you covered everything.
Right. Well,
literally everything that could possibly be talked about.
Yeah, well, let's all do our best favorite Lightfall character Reynard impression and get out of here and play the intro. Hello and welcome back to Aerois. As the Valkyrian Empire, as well as the divided nations and factions of Aerois, prepare for war, the party must also contend with the errant Titans, once worshipped as gods of Aerois. Now mad with grief or anger, they refuse to give up their divine essence to return the true goddess Seyana back to life. Seyana is Aerois' only hope of standing against the full might of the Valkyrian Empire, and so the party must face down each Titan in their own demiplane and force them to surrender their power. After Vala, daughter of Seyana and Emperor Callus Valkyrian, used her demigod powers to locate the demiplane of one such Titan, Zephyr, the party managed to breach the barriers enough to enter and face off against the mistress of adventure, storms, and sea. The battle was fierce, but eventually the party forced Zephyr to submission, and her essence returned to Seyana's body, held in the divine sanctuary called the Halls of Infinite Resplendence. Nova Vija brings Thalia, a Medusa astral space pirate, with her to the halls, hoping that the Titan Seyana, who still retains her mind, can remove the curse upon her. And after a little teasing, Seyana performs a magical ritual to do just that. And that is pretty much where we left off last week. Not last week, 2 weeks ago, in fact, actually.
Blimey.
So it's been a little bit of a break. As a little refresher, you all stand in the white, almost quartz-like stone of the Halls of Infinite Resplendence. In every direction around this central area, they seem to just stretch on for infinity, just seems to stretch on and on and on. You can see that there are segments where it may look like there may be other chambers or rooms, but these corridors just seem to endlessly continue on forever. In the very center of the Halls of Infinite Resplendence is a dais with a crystal sarcophagus, like a large chunk of crystal, from which a large column of light beams upwards into the sky, and in that crystal sarcophagus, you know, is the reforming body of Seyana. Around the dais where you've all kind of gathered, you are all facing towards where Thalia Whisperwind, the Medusa space pirate you had previously traveled and adventured with, you were watching her as Seyana begins singing this song, this kind of pitch note perfect music, which seems to vibrate all around you. It seems to vibrate the air around you. It seems to vibrate within your bodies, within your minds. There is something incredibly ancient, melodious, and powerful about this song. And as it kind of echoes around the chamber, Thalia's body is covered with vines and leaves and flowers that completely kind of enshroud her. You see patches of the green scaled skin just peeking through between these fronds and vines, and it begins turning a kind of dark caramel brown. You can see it slowly shifting. You can see light and metamorphosis beginning to take place. However, as all of this is happening, you see Seyana begins to strain her voice, and you watch as the vines that had curled around Thalia begin to grow thick thorns. The flowers turn bloody crimson, some of them turn black, and you actually hear a gasp of pain from within. Can everyone make a perception check, please?
Oh, good.
Wow.
Plus 11, baby. Hell yeah. Hell
I
yeah.
rolled an 18.
I have advantage, so I'm just going to roll again.
24. I think that's the highest perception check I've ever rolled for Ayla.
Mm-hmm.
17.
I got 24 as well.
Anybody who got above a 15 on that perception check, there is a kind of in amongst this beautiful song of Seyana's, you can almost hear her straining to keep it, and you can see sweat beginning to kind of pour down her face as the goddess, this little halfling goddess or titan, is trying to kind of keep this spell of transformation going. There is another voice that kind of you can just barely hear mixed in, coming from these kind of bloody red flowers and these black flowers which are beginning to kind of take over and bloom on these thorny vines, and you hear this kind of hissed woman's voice. No, you don't deserve a happy ending. And and you hear another kind of like gasp of pain, and then Seyana seems to project her voice in sort of like a kind of boom, like a kind of blast of energy. The note becomes so high that you stop hearing it. Like the note rises and rises and rises until it becomes silence to you. But the flowers and the vines around Thalia burst into multicolored lights. They become like fragments of light that just drift away from her. And as the light begins to dim, you can see a humanoid figure, an elf, standing there. I would say that there is this very Indian features and skin tone. If I was to relate it to Earth, basically, to give you an idea of how she looks. Very Indian features and skin tone. Her hair is long, kind of dark green, very, very straight, but it has a very soft glow about it, kind of an ethereal Lord of the Rings kind of ethereal glow to it. As she blinks, she opens her very elven eyes, which you can see are green, but like the saturation has been turned up to maximum. They almost glow. They're so vibrantly colored. You see that kind of draped around her shoulders, now sort of coiling around her arms. You see a dozen or so snakes. Some of them have kind of slid down to the floor and are kind of curled around her ankles, quite happily hissing and sort of like curling around this now standing elven woman that you see. The last thing you do see, though, is her left arm, Thalia's left arm. There is a trail of blood kind of all down it, where it looks like she's been pricked by many needles all down her left arm. And Quill notices, Quill's the only one with the passive perception here. It looks like there is a black tattoo that you've never seen on Thalia before, like a thorny briar twisting up her forearm, like kind of curling around sort of like her forearm wrist. But she kind of staggers. You hear Thalia kind of like gasp for air. And you're all transfixed, all staring at Thalia as she emerges from this light. Yeah, completely transformed. All Medusa features now gone. Instead, standing before you is this dark-skinned elven woman with these sort of ethereal, fey-like traits.
That's certainly the word to describe Lucius's face. Transfixed, with a little tear rolling down and a little smile. And a little bit of concern. But otherwise non-vocal in any way. Yeah. Just allowing Nova.
Yeah, as soon as she appears out of the light and the briar, Nova will run over immediately and I guess try and hold out, like if she looks like she's falling, hold out to try and grab her and steady her and be like, are you all right? Are you...
Yeah, I think she stumbles. She doesn't quite fall. She sort of stumbles but catches herself. And she does reach out and sort of like places a hand on your shoulder. And I think that's when you would glimpse Nova this kind of black briar tattoo on her wrist. And also the blood. Like the blood is like dripping down her arm. And it kind of, some of it splatters onto your sort of like coat. And Thalia kind of grips you with it and sort of like, she opens her eyes and then immediately shuts them again. And then very slowly opens them, as if like worried that somehow the Medusa's gaze is still going to be there. And she kind of like looks down at your coat and then she slowly lifts her eyes. Her eyes aren't like Lucius's, where they're this solid block of color. These appear to be more, I guess, like traditional irises, but they're so green, and it's like the saturation has been ramped up on them. They're actually almost like glowing in the light that you're kind of looking at. And her eyes match yours, Nova, and she kind of looks, and she looks nervous. She looks kind of scared. And then she sort of looks down and sees the kind of dark, kind of brown color of her skin. And I think that she probably just, like, the tears start small, but then it just grows and grows, and she just like buries her face into your shoulder and just sobs. There's just wailing of tears, and she probably kind of like collapses like to her knees and sort of like is holding on tightly.
It's okay. I'm here. It's okay. Everything's okay, Thalia. Please, it's okay. I'll just wrap her in a big hug.
Yeah,
and I'll be like,
and she's
wipe the tears away.
yeah, you're kind of saying this, and then you realize that there's like a laughter. There's like a kind of like in between the sobs, there is this kind of smiling laughter, this kind of joy. There is this kind of happiness there. What about the rest of you guys as you kind of watch all this happening? Sentry, Quill, Ayla, anything?
I mean, I'm trying to figure out to the best of my ability what that was we just saw in its entirety. Like, if there's a role I can make, great. But if not, I'll still be next to Seyana anyway and say, like, what exactly?
Well, make an Arcana check for me, and then you can turn to Seyana if you don't.
21.
Yeah. So Quill, what you saw, the shift to the thorny briars, the flowers, the voice, the tattoo. You have a sneaking suspicion that this isn't over for Thalia. Whatever Seyana's done has undone the curse of the Medusa, this kind of transformation into a creature, but there's still something here. There's whatever curse was placed on her is still existing in some form, and you suspect, with a 21, you suspect it's worse. You suspect that whatever is now in place, by undoing that first transformation, has unlocked an even worse curse. Powerful magic, this would be. Very powerful magic. And if you turn to look at Seyana looks old. Like, she looks like before she appeared as like a young halfling woman, and you've seen this before with Hesper, your own god. Seyana looks much more like a middle-aged kind of halfling now. Like, you can see grey beginning to form in her like golden hair. You can see like wrinkle lines around her mouth and her eyes, and she lets out, like, she looks exhausted. Like, sweat is dripping from her face. She actually kind of like falls and sits down on the dais, kind of letting out like these deep sort of like kind of like deep breaths.
Yeah, in that case, as I turn to Seyana, I'll like try and not catch her, but in the same thing, just like guide her to a place to sit down.
Wrap like a wing around her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the time
she's almost like struggling to speak. Like, you can tell that she's like, but she's struggling to like breathe. Like, she's struggling to like, get the words out, kind of thing. Sentry, Ayla, what about you guys?
After Nova and Thalia have had some time to get reacquainted, can Sentry make her way over to Thalia and like do a medicine check on her arm?
Sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think like you could even like look at that, like Thalia, Nova's touching Thalia. You can begin sort of like trying to examine at least what's wrong. She'll make a medicine check for me.
That's a 6.
6. I mean, there's clearly like the thorns from the vine must have like scratched her or like dug into her skin. You don't think it's anything serious. Like, it probably doesn't even need like it probably just needs bandages or like cleaning up. You don't think that there's like anything. You can't smell like any poison or anything like that. It just looks like she's been scratched and stabbed by thorns.
I think Sentry will just quietly wrap up Thalia's arm, make sure she's okay. Yeah.
Sure. Ayla? And if not, we'll go back to Nova and Lucius.
Ayla's she's probably watching, but seeing that Sentry's already helping Thalia, like, that's what Ayla would have done as well. So she's probably just gonna stand in between, make sure Seyana, maybe go and give some water to Seyana or something, just to make sure that she's okay.
Yeah. You go over and like, it's kind of funny. Like, you've seen Zephyr at the height of her power, like this, impressive magical being that like could smash your ship with power. And now you're kind of looking at like a middle-aged halfling lady who's like struggling to get her breath. And like, she gladly takes the water and drinks from it. It's almost a little bit off-putting to see these kind of powerful titanic beings that Aerois worshipped as gods. They look so human. They look so mortal, like, sometimes. And it's a little bit, strange to see.
I think now that, like, Ayla is over here, and I'm guessing we're kind of distant enough from Thalia and Nova and Sentry that we can kind of talk relatively quietly. I'll sort of say to
if you're
Ayla,
whispering,
like,
I don't, especially with Thalia, like, sobbing and stuff like that, like, I don't think Sentry and Nova would be able to hear it if they're next to Thalia.
Yeah, I'll sort
super
of
distracted right now.
Lucius is inching towards them, and I'll explain that in a sec.
Sure.
I'll say to Ayla, look at Thalia's arm. I don't know if what we did necessarily released the entire curse. There is something worse going on here. There's a mark on her arm. Do you have any idea what this could be, Ayla? I only ask, as you're an elf, maybe some attunement with the Fae. But
all I know is that every elf I seem to meet is some kind of prince or princess, and I ain't one of them. So
that you know,
I got
of.
nothing.
That you know of.
Jesus Christ!
Seyana, like hearing you talk, like she kind of is like, the champion of Esper is right. There is something far more powerful at work here. We are not done, and I don't know if I can be much more help. And she's like struggling to breathe, but she kind of like rests her hand on like your wing, Quill, and she's like, you're right. Your instincts are right. And she like kind of taps you to kind of confirm what you're saying. Nova and Lucius, what about you guys? So like Lucius, you said you were inching closer.
Yeah, so Lucius was clasping his hands, watching the transformation, and post-reveal, he's like, oh, he's just reacting, almost like a commentary. It's like, so romantic, it's a beautiful moment. She's going to look. And he's doing little grabby hands, and he's inching closer. And I think at that point, when Sentry's over there with Thalia bandaging the wounds, he's basically reaching out for a big group hug at that point.
Okay.
Just when you're ready.
So he's like stood behind them just with his arms out.
Just awkwardly. I'm here.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, like Nova. So like, you know, after a few moments, like Thalia is like sobbing into your shoulder, and you can hear this kind of like half-lie, but it's, you know, what do you do if not? Let me know.
I think probably I'd be holding Thalia's face and just like, you know, trying to wipe away her tears and, you know, giving her little kisses on her forehead. And like, it's okay. It's okay. Are you hurt? Do you hurt? Say something, please, Thalia, say something.
She finishes, like, she kind of lets you kind of wipe away the tears and like comes up and like holds her hands over your own. And she kind of just grasps it, and she's just like, I've waited a very, very long time. I've waited a long time for this. I didn't believe that this would ever happen. I was convinced that I was going to suffer for things I'd done in the past for eternity. I just can't believe that this has happened. And she kind of like takes your hands down with her, and she kind of looks up at you. And you, even like her speech has changed. Like, you know, the lisp, the snaking lisp is gone, things like that. And you, as you're kind of holding, one of the snakes is actually coiled around her wrist, and it begins kind of like licking your hand, Nova. It's like little tongue, kind of like hissing and stuff like that. And yeah, like you can see that there's probably about 12 of these snakes, and they've all just like gathered around like Thalia. Like some of them are like coiled around her legs, like, you know, trying to like, and sliding up her body and things like that. Like one's like, and they're only like little garter snakes. They're not like big pythons or anything like that. So they all kind of like happily kind of like coil around her wrists or up on her shoulders. And like she like looks at them, and I think you could see that there is a big relief almost. Like she's just like, I was worried I'd lose you as well. And she like pats them and strokes them and stuff like that. But yeah, she's like, no, my arm hurts a little, but it itches. And she kind of like looks at the blood. I think some of those thorns scraped me or stabbed me or something.
Yeah, I think I saw something strike. I heard something. Did you hear something? Did you hear a voice saying?
No, a voice. I heard the Titan singing, but a voice. I got stabbed and it hurt. I remember screaming out, but it was like I was enveloped in light. I couldn't really see or hear anything except for Seyana's music.
Oh, but maybe it was just me. There was a lot going on. Very distracted. Wow, your eyes. God, they're beautiful.
A little bit of the Fae, obviously, being so connected to Lunaria and the Feywild. God, I've kind of forgotten what they were like. I've not seen them in so long. And yeah, she kind of like, you can see she's looking at her hands and like staring at her hands, and she pulls some of like the green hair forward and is examining it and things like that. But she hasn't seen herself yet. There's no mirror or anything for her to look into. So,
Thalia, I don't want to ruin this moment. If I could, I would hold you forever. But I think if Lucius doesn't get in on this hug, he might explode.
You can hear like a high pitch like. No, it's like trying to release pressure that's been building up in him this whole time. It's like, taking over, and you'll just sweep them both up.
Yeah, well, I think like
radiant, glorious.
Thalia sort of like wraps you in as well, and she looks at Sentry, and she looks up at you in the face, Sentry, and she just mouths like a thank you. She's like, thank you, you know, where you've been bandaging her arm, but she's like, and then she just turns and says, thank you, all of you. I wouldn't. Obviously, Nova, I know, is the one who brought me here, but I wouldn't be here on Aerois without all of you, and I just never thought this day would come. I'm so happy, and you can see this. She's like still trying to wipe away some of the tears and things like that. But Seyana, with Quill and Ayla, Seyana shoots you both a very grave look.
I think seeing everyone now sweeping in for hugs and stuff.
It's like, happy time, yay!
I'll have to go in there and say, wait, everyone stop, please, stop.
Ayla's gonna just hit Quill. Ayla's gonna just hit Quill slightly and go, looking good, Thalia! Looking great, buddy. Just a moment. And then she's gonna just pull Quill and Seyana aside and be like, okay, before we maybe tell people about, you know, shit, but can we just wrap up what could be done, what it might be, any more information? Because currently all we know is that we're going to tell her, hey, sorry, bud, no.
I'm wary. We have no idea the nature of this brand new curse, and they are hugging her, and anything could happen to anyone here.
I know a little of magic and song and stories. But magic was really Hesper's. This is magical in some nature, and I suspect that the person who may know the most is Thalia herself. Whoever put this curse upon her, this is... I expected an archfey of Lunaria, but this person, there is something darker at work here. This magic, this curse it reeks of demonic influence.
Now, I want to hug Thalia as much as everyone else here. However...
Oh, come and bring it in.
Okay. Thalia, can we borrow you for a moment? Seyana wants to speak to you.
Yes, of course. Yes, I must thank her. And she kind of stands up and sort of like, you know, she probably holds Nova's hand. Like she probably like would hold your hand and sort of step towards Seyana. She's a little bit, not too much taller, but she's definitely some of the kind of like... She's definitely thin, not like a reed or anything like that, but there is this very elven quality to her now, which wasn't really there before. And the sort of like straight hair makes her look even taller. It makes her, you know, kind of stand more imperiously. Her long ears now kind of stretch out, you know. She definitely looks very royal in a sense, with the kind of green eyes and stuff. Her sort of like posture. Quill, royalty. When they start walking over to you, that tattoo of the briar, it first was only a very kind of like, it probably barely kind of like graced past sort of like her wrist. It's extended a little bit. Like it's such a small change that I don't think anybody but you would pick up on it. But that thorn has grown longer in the short time that
already
Thalia. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Ayla, we can't be delicate here. Thalia, I am so happy.
Can I see your arm, please?
To see you as you are.
Please?
But you need to tell us about that marking on your arm.
What marking? And then she looks down at it, like seeing it for the first time. And then those green eyes go wide. Like there is like a look on her face. Like, it's not over, is it? She's done something else. I didn't realize that she would hate me this much.
What are you saying? Thalia, we brought you to a Titan. It's gone, hasn't it? It's over.
I thought it did. Yes, I thought so, but she looks at Quill now like something happened, didn't it? during the transformation.
There was a voice that spoke out when you were turning, and these briar thorns and everything, saying that you don't deserve a happy ending. But you seem to know who caused this curse. Tell us everything you know, and we'll be able to solve it.
Oh, I don't know if we can, but she kind of grips Nova's hand a bit tighter. I thought this would be the end of it. I misunderstood the extent of how much she hates me. I thought that the curse, the Medusa curse, I thought that would be the end of it. She kind of looks around. She looks at Lucius and Sentry. I told you all once before, I used to be a very unpleasant person. I told you this when we first met. I have told Nova, and she looks at you. I told you that I wasn't the person you thought I was. A long time ago, back on Lunaria, many call it the Feywild, where I'm from. I was royalty. I was very spoilt, and I was very cruel, and very vain, and there was a sorceress. She was good-hearted, an ally of all sorts of good fae, and I was very, very cruel to her. Bullying is not quite enough of a phrase for it. I was malicious. I was very, very malicious. I did things to her that I will never forgive myself for. And over time, I twisted her good nature, her good heart, into something so dark, so fueled by revenge, that it drove her to take action against me and my family. And you can see this just like haunted shame, like there's just immense shame as Thalia's kind of revealing this to you. Mm. Her name was Mesmera, a silly name perhaps in this realm, but in the Feywild such names are quite common. She's a sorceress, or she was. I suppose she still is. She's blessed with gifts of unicorns, of fairies, of satyr. She would aid people who came to speak to her, sort of a good witch, if you want to think of her that way. I tormented her. I bewitched her lover, stole him from her, and then tossed him aside. And I did all sorts of horrible things. I burnt her home. I was jealous of her, of the love that people gave her, and of her beauty and many things. And then one day she snapped. One day she had enough, and she came to my home. She came to Heartspire, which is a place on Lunaria, my kingdom. And she had some dark artifact that paralyzed our guards. It was a magic I'd never seen before, immensely powerful. And she cast a curse upon me. She said that I did not deserve my beauty, that I did not deserve to be looked upon with love, that everything I looked upon should turn to stone. And that's when I transformed. And then she turned my own family against me with magic, and I wasn't able to control my powers. I petrified them there in my palace home. But she didn't kill me, she let me live. She said that I'd have to wander and be the hated monstrosity that I always was. And so I ran, I fled. It caused goodness knows how much suffering in my escape. Eventually I made my way into astral space, and then the life of Thalia, the astral space pirate, began. And for many centuries, I was still that cruel person driven by hate and bitterness, by cruelty and maliciousness. I conspired to strike back, but I knew that Mesmera was more powerful than I could possibly imagine. So I gave up. And then I met Bim, I met Kiri. My life began to change. Slowly. It took a long time, but all that bitterness, all that hate eventually went away. And really all was left was shame and regret. And then, of course, you all had to come walking into my life, and she squeezes Nova's hand, especially this one. Kind of convinced me that maybe I did deserve a little bit of happiness. Maybe I had made enough of an amends, but it seems that, and she kind of looks at her arm once more, it seems that that's not the case. I don't know what this is. I don't really know much magic. Back on Lunaria, I have access to powers, but I certainly don't have them now. I don't know what she's done, but she's powerful and clever, and certainly has enough motivation to make me suffer.
I'm wondering if there's something I can do to examine it further, but
There definitely is.
let's have a look. Ooh, I can. I have that lore thing. That lore thing, you know.
Well, while you look up that, I want to check in and make sure nobody else wants to say anything while you read up on spells that you can do. You can see Thalia, like, especially with, I think, Sentry Lucius. I think with Sentry and Lucius, because Nova, she's kind of already said at least some of this too, and I think she thinks that Ayla doesn't care too much, but you can see that, like, Sentry and Lucius, like, she can't really look you in the eyes, like, as she's saying all of this. Like, she's kind of, like, keeping her gaze down, and she seems very, very ashamed. And she's kind of revealing a lot of this.
Youth can be cruel. I've seen that growing up in Solvin. With Petal, I've seen young girls, young boys pick on each other all the time.
This was a little more than that, Sentry, and I wasn't that young. I was a woman. I knew what I was doing. I was petty and vain and cruel. Some people just are. Some, for whatever reason, we're selfish and vain and greedy. And I was all of those things. I don't want to just excuse it. I know you're trying to make me feel better, but I can't just excuse that as foolishness of youth. I wasn't. I knew what I was doing. And I realize that now. I can see why I did those things and everything else. I just think I've learnt now how wrong those things were. I appreciate your kind words.
That's important. You're not who you were. And maybe it's important that you confront that. Maybe the only way to break this curse is to confront her.
I think so. But
ask for forgiveness.
I don't think that that's even... I don't think that there will be any forgiveness to give, but maybe I can convince her that I've changed. Maybe that I can convince her that there can be another way. I don't want her to become this thing that I've made her. She used to be a good person. And I think that good person must still be there, but the difficulty will be getting there. The Lunaria is not just... it's not like Azagrat or Elysium. It's hidden within the Twilight Nebula. It's not easy to reach, and I can't... my connection to it's been severed. I don't think I can help you get back there.
I mean, we did once think that space wasn't a thing, and then we ended up in astral space. I'm sure we'll find a way.
Maybe. You don't have time for that. You have Aerois to protect and save. Traveling through the astral sea, even if we could get the Twin Star beyond this cradle of yours, even if we could get out there, Callus's warships are waiting for us. Plus, it would take maybe days for us to reach the Twilight Nebula, and even then, I don't know if I can navigate you through it anymore. Like I said, I'm not really connected to it anymore. Until I go home, I'm not a Fey creature yet. Not until I return back to Lunaria.
We've come this far. We ended up on the other side of the astral sea, and we came back. We fought a Titan. We've come this far, Thalia. We can do the rest. It won't be tomorrow. It won't even be next week. But I will make sure it happens.
Thank you. She just sort of like looks at you and she's like, I don't know what I did to deserve you, Nova. I certainly never did. I'm glad that you're here. And she just sort of squeezes your hand a little bit. Quill, you want to hit us with that spell?
Yeah, so it's not quite as powerful, I think, for this specific situation. However, I will use my eye, the Eye of the Storm, and I would like...
Legend? Why do you not think Legend Lore will work?
So it says that I'd have to ask about a specific person, object, or place, and it has to be of legendary significance. And I think if I use this spell to... I can't necessarily ask about this curse, because it's not really an object. If I ask about Mesmera...
You could ask about Thalia. Like, the curse is on Thalia. I would say that the curse is something you can cast Legend Lore about through Thalia. It doesn't have to be about a specific, like, the curse isn't an object, but the curse is affecting Thalia.
Well, could I ask about the marking? Would that be an object?
No, but I'd say you just ask about Thalia, and it's the same thing. Like, if there is any legendary element to this curse, it will be revealed by the spell.
Oh, okay. In that case, with the Wayfinder's Guide,
just try it.
I will, I'll spend 5 charges, of my 10. And I'd like to find out about Thalia and, by extension, this marking, if possible. And Legend Lore itself says that it has to tell me everything about it and how to get rid of it. That's what it says. Wow.
It doesn't say that. What it does say is the spell brings to your mind a brief summary of the significant lore about the thing you named. The lore might consist of current tales, forgotten stories, or even secret lore that has never been widely known. If the things you named isn't of legendary importance, you gain new information. So I think if you ask, like, what is the curse, kind of like, and again, it's like you name what is the curse on Thalia Whisperwind, right? Like, that's the kind of thing that you get. How would this information be displayed to you? You're doing it through the book. So as you open the Wayfinder's Guide, like, you know that the Wayfinder's Guide has, like, all this information about all these different worlds. And as you ask it, the pages of the book begin to turn, and the pages, like, very rapidly, like, they begin really rapidly scrolling, and you realize it's flicking through more pages than are actually in this book. Like, the book has more pages than it physically has, and it's skipping through them until it falls open onto what almost looks like a children's fairy tale story. Like, it has illustrations, it has the big over-the-top kind of like fairy tale font, and it is a story. I'm going to summarize it because I didn't write out a full story, sure. But the tale is called The Tale of the Cruel Princess, and it shows this kind of like fairy tale kingdom, and it tells of how the good witch was tormented and tortured by this wicked princess, the cruel princess that lived in a tower of thorns at the heart of the castle, in a tall spire, fancy spire, and she placed upon a curse that would transform the princess into a hideous monster. And should that curse ever be removed, a secret curse would be unlocked, a secret curse hidden amongst the first. As her cruelty was a poison to others, it would become a poison unto her, and it would slowly writhe its way. And when the poison reached the princess's heart, she would die, never able to return. And looking at the illustrations, you see this kind of curling briar pattern seems to be reoccurring. And judging from it with your intellect and knowledge as a seer, you think that briar mark is a kind of indicator of the poison and how much it's progressing.
Does this story have an ending?
It doesn't currently. Well, actually, I think that like in this story, the princess dies and the good witch inherits the kingdom and becomes a wonderful ruler, and looks after everybody else and everything else, and everyone is happily ever after.
Okay.
You estimate, Quill, using legend lore. You suspect that this could take anywhere between a week and 2 weeks. The rate that this thing is like ever slightly growing. You reckon you've got like a week to 2 weeks before it reaches Thalia's heart. Okay.
And they didn't get rid of the curse in the book, did they? That damn story. Okay. Cool.
But you know it was cast by the Good Witch. The Good Witch cast it. And I think actually maybe in the story there would be hint that the Good Witch got help from her shadow. There's like a kind of like plot where her shadow offers to help her create the curse. And the shadow appears as like this dark, almost all in black figure who appears behind the Good Witch and whispers secret magic to her.
Cool. Fake stories.
This is why he smirked when Nova was saying, like, maybe not today.
Maybe not today, maybe not in a week.
That's exactly Which also,
I was like,
I had a feeling.
Okay.
I had a feeling.
Like,
when I said that, I was like,
I was so ready to say to you, like, we don't have that much time. Okay. Anyone else got anything else?
So does Quill basically read out that story in front of everybody, or does he read that in secret and then like shuts the book and looks at everyone?
Like, I'm gonna show it to Nova and as best as possible cover up the paragraph where the princess dies.
The cruel princess dies.
The end of the story.
Just put a feather over it.
What's behind your claw there? Could you just move your claw there? I can't finish this sentence.
No, the story ends. The story ends here. That's the end.
It really doesn't, though, Nova. It's definitely there's sentences continuing.
No, it waffles on for a bit. The story writer got bored here, and no, it just ends here. Really weird. Okay, you can read it, but you won't like it.
From the outside, Nova goes very still and just almost frozen with her finger on that sentence in the book. Inside Nova's head, it's kind of like it's doing that frantic, like almost calculations, formulas. She's thinking of every spell she knows. What spell do I have? Can I contact Mesmera? Can I find who is this shadow? I need to find this shadow. Can I go to a library and find out more about this shadow? I have a book about Lunarian royalty. Can I cast this spell? And it's just like a mess of like, what can I do? And she's just physically, but outside, she's just frozen, just going, oh, over and over again.
Yeah, I think I'm now saying to Nova, but I imagine like just not really listening it, but it's also saying it to everyone else. Like the briar is growing up her arm quite quickly. Maybe in a week, maybe 2 weeks, it will reach her heart. And well, does anyone have any ideas? Anything in connection to the Feywild, some way of reaching, some way of contacting, anything at all?
You do hear a cough coming from like a fair distance away where Max and Valor have just been sort of like stood and are like staying out of it. They're sort of like Valor is like wiping tears. Like you can see that like she like kind of like Lucius, she was like, oh, it's so beautiful. Oh no, it's so tragic now. But Max will say, I can't help you with any of what you just asked, Keelek, but I should inform you that Lunaria is part of the Valkyrian Empire. It is a sovereignty. They maintained much of their own power, which means that you will be unlikely to encounter Valkyrian troops should you travel there, but it is not impossible. There will be governors, there will be guards.
Oh, of course there is. Of course it's part of that.
Traveling there via astral ship, if you can get past the blockade which currently surrounds Aerois, there will be warships outside of Lunaria's planar space watching. They monitor traffic in and out of the Twilight Nebula. That is not to say that there are not some benefits. The Twilight Nebula is notorious amongst soldiers of the Empire. It is one of the reasons that Lunaria is a sovereignty rather than a complete territory of the Empire. Magitech does not like the Twilight Nebula. The Twilight Nebula is filled with strange magic. The magic there is fickle, unstable. The elves, the Fae of Lunaria, have learned to control it, and their lands are strange. There are many strange creatures and beasts, plants, magical beings there. But Magitech it works occasionally. This makes it very difficult for Valkyrians to truly mount any sort of larger scale assault. This is why we leave it to the Lunarians to police themselves. I hope that information is at least useful to you. But, well, perhaps I should keep my opinions to myself.
No, that's useful. It's very useful, Max. Thank you very much. But we still need to find a way to get there. It's not going to take weeks, basically. Let's just find another Hadar hole and jump on in and pray for the best. Maybe we'll land on the
ain't going anywhere near that again.
No more Hadar holes, please. No more of those.
No.
The other thing that your Valkyrian friend here doesn't quite understand is if you don't travel via astral ships, it is very difficult to navigate the Twilight Nebula unless you are a Fey creature, or you have a Fey creature as a guide. This is one of the ways that we have avoided encounters of the Valkyrians before. Even teleporting in, using magic to travel between the planes, is unpredictable. You need to have a creature native to the Feywild with you in order to progress.
Sir.
I don't count. Yes, Ayla. You don't need to put your hand up.
Rose Meadow. She's all flimsy and stuff, right? More for the group.
It can't just be somebody who is Fey-like. It needs to be an actual being from the Feywild.
How do I know?
I don't know who this is. Well, they won't be from Aerois. They'll be from somewhere else. But as I understand it, nobody can travel to Aerois. Nobody can get to Aerois through the cradle, is my understanding.
I thought that Rose Meadow being Rose Meadow would work. Never mind. I'm back in my hole of no ideas.
I don't know who this Rose Meadow is, so unfortunately I can't help you much there. But yes, just having Fey elements, like yourself or Lucius, elves are partial Fey creatures, but it's not enough. You need to be an actual Fey being.
What? I'm part Fey.
Well, I don't know exactly how your elves here on Aerois were created, but you are extremely similar to the elves of Lunaria and other worlds. You seem to have a natural resistance against charm magic and things like that. This is quite common in Fey beings. Whatever Siaska, when she created you, I assume that she based it on some elven subspecies.
Wow.
I don't know if you royal like elves can't figure it out, then I'm pretty stumped because you're the fancy ones.
Yes, unfortunately, I don't know any other Fae, and I don't know how they would have even gotten to Aerois if they did. It may be. I don't think that Guardians would count, but I do remember in old stories, Guardians did come to Lunaria long ago, before any of this Valkyrian empire, before Hadar. Guardians traveled across many planar realms. Maybe there is something there, Sentry. Maybe there is something you may be involved in, but
maybe there's a matrix or someone you could call out to for advice.
Cool route.
I think Ayla idea here again. You know, I have them sometimes. They're not great. Library, Nova. Library. Huh? Huh?
Nova's in her own world. She's she's calculating.
Whenever
thinking,
Nova wants to find out something amazing, she says we should go to a library. So we should try and go to a library. Find something that's all fairy-like. Maybe Danica would know something. I don't know. Danica's all ancient and fancy.
Please don't
right?
feel... I appreciate everything that you have done for me so far, and obviously I don't want us to just give up. I don't just want to accept my death, but I also understand that your world is at threat. Callus and this war and these Titans, this is something you must focus on. Like, trust me, whatever this is, I sort of deserve it. And if I can't stop it, then I'll just accept it. And maybe I can travel there on my own. Maybe that Palador of yours will let me pass, and I can travel back to Lunaria on my own and try and set this right.
Bella?
Yes, sorry. I just sort of watched all of this, and it's all just a bit tragic.
How long? Sorry, time estimate, roughly. How long do you think you've got until you've got the next Titan for us? Are we still a little while?
Yes, it will take me at least another month, at least. It will take me some time.
Thalia.
Finding Zephyr was hard enough.
We got a month, Thalia.
Yeah,
Let's go!
We're between war fronts right now, and I don't think any nation necessarily needs our saving just yet. No Titans are running rampant. I think we've actually got a free schedule.
Well, I'm glad that you can squeeze in my little problem.
Sequester. Sequester.
No problem. Too big, too small. We used that.
Does anyone?
Yeah.
No, but we can find a scroll. We know peeps. What if we put her in sequester? Surely that would slow the poison down. Quill.
It should do. Yeah, we can almost literally buy you some time. Quite a lot of time, in fact, for us to get to the bottom of this curse. I mean, we could give it a go. I think use it at the last possible time. I think is when we should use it.
Okay.
I've got all these potions. I've got bags of potions. Take any of them.
Okay.
Any potion.
Essentially, I think
No problem.
that's very
No problem.
That's
Too
very
big,
kind.
too small. Storm chasers on the job. Come on. Right. Library. Danica. Rose Meadow. Maybe because she's fancy as well. I just think we find like fairy-like looking things and just ask. That point one. Let's just go and ask people. Huh?
Okay.
Come
Thalia,
on. Time's against us. Let's go. Ayla's like just gonna start walking towards like Max and Vala to like
Sure. Yeah.
go.
Yeah, you walk over to them. I mean, they're literally like, 5 steps away from you. You get to them. You look around. There's just infinite corridors stretching out in every direction. There's no exit. You're like,
Yeah.
Lucius will storm up to Thalia and point. Don't you bloody ever say, don't you say that you're not bloody... Well, sorry, I'm not very good at this. Don't do it. Okay? You're worth it.
she kind of... I think she would look at Lucius. I'm trying to remember if Thalia knows about some of the stuff Lucius has been saying. I don't think she does. So she just kind of looks back and says, I will keep fighting until the end. Even through all of this, even at my lowest points, that's the one thing I've managed to do. Always keep moving forward. Or at least moving somewhere, maybe not forward. Sometimes moving backwards, sometimes running away, but going somewhere. I'm not just going to lay down and die. But I just don't want to... I feel like you've all done so much for me. It's a lot to ask you to put everything else on hold to fix this. Something which I brought upon myself and deserve. Frankly.
Sorry, to everybody here, do you remember Thalia asking us for help? I don't remember that. Does anyone remember that? No.
No.
This is on us.
Thalia, the saving Aerois is about keeping our allies with us throughout the entire thing. If we can't do that, then, well, what's the point? I'm just saying, Mesmera tried to make a monster out of you, and you've clearly proven her wrong with the efforts you've made to help all of these people, to save us, just getting us back home. You deserve a happy ending.
We also said that we were going to stop it when we found you first in astral space, just saying. And we said that we'd pay you for delivering us back to Aerois, just saying. Can we go
I'm
now?
very glad. Do you know, I'm actually quite glad that we never got that ring. I feel that at least now we stand a better chance of figuring this thing out.
I've written 20 points of what we do next, and a timeline for them, and the probabilities of which we succeed and which at least will progress us along the timeline towards a successful ending. I think, yes. I can't move. Let's move. Otherwise, I might fall apart. Let's go.
You hear
Let's go.
Yeah. You hear some like coughing, and you look to see Seyana kind of like standing up from where she'd been resting, still looking visibly older. She says, "Yes, you should get going. I need to rest here for some time. That took more out of me than I was expecting. Whatever it is, I wish you luck, champion." And she looks at Quill. I do think that gift that my brother left you, and she points at the book, that should at least help. Whatever this is, if he was with you when you met this woman, I'd be very surprised if he didn't have an inkling of what was behind all of this. But also, you've all done so much. Everything I've heard about you, everything I've seen of you, you've all accomplished so much. You've seen so much in your travels. I'm certain that you'll find a way through this. Good luck. I'll keep watch over Mother's body. Until next time.
Nice, man. I love Seyana.
She's very wholesome.
I think Nova, in all of this, would not, in her kind of tunnel visionness, would have completely forgotten about Seyana. And having Seyana stand up and say that now, as soon as she sees her and sees her age, it's like, oh, I didn't realize.
What's there to realize, girl? There's nothing to apologize for. I knew that this would happen. I didn't
think it would affect you this much.
Of course, no. I didn't expect it to have this much of a drain, but I knew that it would drain some. The more and more I use, the more I bring to bear of the divine magic, the more this happens. As Mother is regenerating, we're all becoming weaker in our own ways. And unless I retreat to my own domain, this will keep happening, just as it did with Hesper. But Mother put us here for a reason. My reason is, well, if I can't help love, if I can't help a woman who has clearly seen the error of her past, there's no point in me keeping what little power I have left if I'm not willing to use it for these causes. Do not worry about me. Do not be sad for me. I want to join Hesper and Zephyr.
Thank you. If there's anything I can do, thank you.
She just nods. You already have. She just smiles.
Oh boy, I can't deal with this Phil's train anymore.
But yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Quill's got the way out of here, so.
That's true. What's on the list? What's on Nova's hit list? Not hit list. That's a different thing.
Number 2, Quill.
Yeah, this one I'm leaving fully in your hands, by the way, guys. Like, I have not written like any. This isn't a railroad situation where I've come up with everything. This one, I'm like, okay. I've given you many tools and many things across the many years we've been playing. This is on you guys now.
We have many tools. Go anywhere
this is
we
sandbox
want,
time.
Yeah.
We have D&D Beyond, the best tool.
The best digital tool set.
Wow.
Very nice plug. Yeah,
nice.
Smooth.
Nice.
I'd like to go and ask D&D Beyond.
Sure.
I think Ayla's suggestion of speaking to Danica is probably a good place to start, or just to try and get some more information on maybe the shadow. One thing I have, it probably won't help, but I have in my inventory a book chronicling the lineage of a minor noble family from Lunaria. And I don't know if that would contain any information that we haven't learned already in the last. No. Oh, yeah.
No. When you looked into this book before, because it's not Thalia's family that's in the book, it is just some random minor family. It's like a kind of like family history biography. You don't see any mention of like, I mean, even flicking through it, there's lots of mentions to like all sorts of like witches and archfey and sorceresses and sorcerers. You know, the Feywild Lunaria is made up of this. Like, these tend to be like the rulers of kingdoms. You know that it's very whimsical. Well, not whimsical necessarily, but like it operates under a lot of strange rules. There's rules about like hospitality. There's rules of like, you know, being kind to strangers and people that give you gifts and things like that. I think that reading through that and like with Thalia's revelation, the only thing is like, this is kind of a big deal. If Thalia was really, she would have had to have been very, very cruel to this good witch to turn her, like to make her take these kind of steps. And it's kind of, this is a big deal. This isn't just like a normal curse or anything like that. This is definitely a big thing. But unfortunately, the book isn't really going to be too useful.
The only other immediate idea I had outside trying to gather intel was I was pondering about using contact other plane to contact Mesmera herself.
Hi.
Yeah, but I know that they can only give like yes, no, maybe sort of like one word answers, so I need to think very quickly about what I would ask, but also I need to roll to make sure I don't go insane and fail it.
Yeah, well, you'll have the break to come up with the questions, and then we can do the roll in later, but yeah.
Sorry, go insane?
Okay.
What's that bit?
Yeah, don't worry about that.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about that bit.
Okay.
Might not happen.
Might.
Cool. So is the plan to head back to Horizon and talk to Danica? Literally, Tom has got he gets to pick where you go, so...
I've got Google Maps open. I'm ready to click it.
He's like...
The fast travel
just to check though, Tom, you have used some of the buttons already, haven't you? Because you've used the button for the Hall of Infinite Resplendence, and I think you used the Horizon one already.
Yes. Well, have I used the Horizon one?
Yeah, because you went to pick up Thalia. You went back there.
Okay. Well, we can go back to Gusthaven or the Storm Chaser.
Unless anyone wants to teleport us, right? Can we teleport to Horizon?
Yeah, if you've got teleport, like you can cast your own teleport spells for sure. You know the teleportation circles and stuff. You know the sequence.
A helm.
Yeah, the helm of teleportation would work as well. Yeah.
Yeah, we've also got
the teleport spells. The only thing is with teleportation spells is they wouldn't get you to the Hall of Infinite Resplendence because it's protected against teleportation magic. The only thing which gets you to the Halls of Infinite Resplendence is the book, is the Wayfinder's Guide. But to get out of it, yeah, you can just use normal teleportation magic. But getting in, it is warded.
Yeah, well, I mean, if we want to go to Gusthaven or the Storm Chaser, I'm your guy. At least for the next 24 hours.
Or I think both Lucius and Nova can teleport the party as well.
Yeah, I've got teleportation circle as well, so there's ways. But where are we going? Nova? Gusthaven? Or Gusters?
Isn't that
Horizon, right?
Danica Horizon?
Danica is on Horizon, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
I'll edit it later, so it says Horizons. Oh, Horizons?
Yeah. I guess, yeah, I think what Aelis said about Danica, and isn't Rosemeadow there as well?
Yeah, Rosemeadow's in Horizon as well, yep.
Yeah, that's a good starting point, I think. And I'm sure they'd have great libraries as well. I feel like Horizon would have awesome libraries.
Maybe. You don't know, actually. Yeah, I don't think you've ever inquired about libraries on Horizon.
Ooh. And sequester scrolls. I think that's Nova's top 3 thoughts at the moment is what Ayla said, some sort of way to sequester, like as an emergency, you know, like counting down to the last day, sequester Thalia, and then contact Outplane. That's my thoughts.
Okay. All right.
Some solid
Anybody
options.
else? Yeah. Anybody else got like any ideas or things that they want to do?
Yeah.
Sentry will probably speak to Root, ask them about the Guardians in the Feywild, what they were up to.
Yeah. Yeah. Could do that. All right. Cool. Well, it sounds like the party's going to Horizon then. So who's teleporting what? Who's casting the spells?
Yeah, I can't.
So
Well, I'm happy to, but if we've got a helm that does it, then ding dong.
Bing bong. Helm of teleport.
Does it take all of us? Like all of
It
us?
can teleport up
it
to 8
takes-
creatures.
sorry, yeah.
Yeah,
that's
that'll take
three
all of you.
charges. It's 1 charge, and yeah, I think that would work.
Yeah,
I'm guessing
and
you're not
again,
gonna make me
Nova would
roll
know
any of
the
like. Yeah.
You don't need to roll as long as you know the teleportate. You can basically go to a teleport circle with 0 chance of failure if you know the rune sequence, which for Horizon you do. You know the rune sequence for Horizon and Gusthaven. So you can go to either of those locations without worrying about teleport fucking up. Cool.
Cool.
All right.
And we need to buy a scroll, a sequester scroll. Man, who thought we'd need a sequester scroll twice in this campaign? And I was almost going to spaff it away for 8,000 gold. And a library. We need to find a library too.
The teleport helm feels much more like the traditional teleportation that you're used to, as opposed to the Wayfinder's Guide version of teleportation. You kind of feel yourselves yanked out of your bodies and propelled at a very rapid distance, kind of unaware of your surroundings, but aware that you are traveling very quickly in a matter of moments. And then you kind of come to a slamming halt as you appear in the guarded teleportation circle room of Horizon itself. You do startle quite a few of the guards who are like, huh! But then when they see it's you, they quickly, there is like a brief kind of like, are they illusions? Nope, they're clear. And they just sort of like nod, welcome back to Horizon, Storm Chasers.
Thank you. Never get used to that.
You see all the guards are still, they all relax, but they look, when they seem like, you can see that they're all keeping their weapons because they're looking at Max, and like they all trust you, but they're like watching Max very carefully, who's just kind of like ignoring them.
All right.
Nice. Cool.
We'll head to either Danica for advice, maybe on where the library is, but I feel like that's going to the leader of the place to ask for directions. So
you tell me. You tell me what you want to do.
And Nova, tell us.
Is there a sign on the corner of the road, and one of them is pointing to Feywild?
No.
Damn it.
Nice try.
Should we do
easy.
break and then decide what we're doing?
Yeah, we can take break now. Yeah, we can take break now, and then you can let me know what you want to do. All right. In that case, we're going to take a quick 5-minute break. And then when we come back, figure out what the F we're going to do.
What in the F? Yeah, Danica will know. It's fine. She's got all the information.
She's
like 500 years old or something.
Yeah. She is Mesmera.
On Aerois.
Turns out, in a past life. Yeah.
I knew it. All right, we're going to go kill Danica.
A point of note keeping. We scoop the snakes up and bring them with us. The snakes.
Oh yeah. Like Thalia keeps the snakes with her on like a whole time. Yeah. The snakes.
Oh, wait,
snakes
how many snakes were there? Just think
12.
of the teleport.
12 snakes.
We've left. All right, we've left Lucius behind. We've left Ayla behind. We've left Max.
No, the
behind.
snakes. I'm not going to count the snakes as creatures for the teleport. I'm not going to do that. I don't care what the spell says. The snakes company. Thalia puts all the snakes in her
Got
micro
3
bag of
trips.
holding. She puts them in like a bag of holding and then gets them out when you finish.
I just
Good.
love Seyana. Like, we all bamf away, and then one person bamfs
Seyana's just
back,
left with snakes.
Scoop up some snakes, and then bamfs away again.
Sorry about this.
Sorry.
Forgot my snakes.
Forgot my kids. Yeah. Cool.
Forgot the kids. Left them at the pub. It's fine.
I mean, Nova, you have inherited 12 snake children. I hope you know that in this relationship.
Yes.
You are now
Well, they all have
stepmother to
names.
12 snakes. Yeah, absolutely.
that's fine. Names.
It's okay. Thalia's inherited a lot of war crimes.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Nice. All right. We're going to take a 5-minute break. Tom's going to read out some messages. And then when we get back, we're going to play some more D&D.
If there's something strange growing in your pants, who are you going to call? Manscaped, obviously. Manscaped is here for you during the spooky Halloween season to ensure that you don't get jump scared by your own balls when you look down in the shower. With their Performance Package 4.0, you'll find the Weed Whacker and Lawnmower so you can tear up that nastiness like Edward Scissorhands. You know, when he pruned those bushes, not what he did to the waterbed. Anyway, you can also resurrect them pumpkins with the Manscaped Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant. But it doesn't stop with balls, you can also trim those claws with the Shears 2.0 Nail Kit. Or if you smell like an actual zombie, you can grab the new refined body wash. Look, Manscaped have a bunch of life-changing products on their website to restore your confidence and give you less to worry about this Halloween season. And you can get all of this with 20% off with the code HIGHROLLERS at manscaped.com. So give your Halloweenie the love it deserves with Manscaped. Hey, before you guys dip a Rooney, though, that's all of you.
Oh, please hurry.
You duders.
I really need the bathroom.
Well, 2 weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, we had a donation before the stream even began. There wasn't a stream. It was from Mooney Rose for $200.
Wowsies. Thank you very much, Mooney Rose.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We didn't even do. So sorry about that, Mooney
Lord.
Rose, but thank you very much. A cheeky little pre-stream donation because I'm forever doomed to VOD Squad. Hopefully you've caught up in this time. Thanks for being my reason to get out of bed on a Monday for the past few years. P.S. Please give Angus a little smooch on the head for me.
I will
Angie.
smooch. Little Angie.
Nice.
Right. Thank you very much,
Oh, yeah,
Mooney Rose, and I will carry on with the donations.
Good luck, Thomas.
Thanks. I'm going to need it.
Got this, Tom.
I'm going to need it.
You killed the king.
Thank you. Fucking hell, please.
I'm going to buy your pin.
No, you're not. No, you're not. Please do, though. Miss Jinx has donated. This was also 2 weeks ago. First time leaving the VOD Squad to join the live tribe. Sorry. Be a part of the live hive. Thank you for everything you do. Been working too much to enjoy much, but it's been fun catching up on Aerois on my drive to and from work every day. Amazing. Thank you very much, Miss Jinx. I'm glad that we are brightening that drive. Natalie June Hawthorne. This was last week. Haven't donated in a while because I fell asleep watching 122 live and never had the time to catch up. Monday players broke the Tomb of Annihilation and the non-stop Sunshine crew ganged up on Strahd at level 17 and stole Barovia for the forces of good. Jesus Christ. What gods. Shiano the Shade, $20 dues. Thank you very much. Actually, before I carry on, I just remembered there was some buffering earlier. If you are watching this bit now would be a good time to refresh and you will be up to date. Hopefully the internet issues have been fixed. Refresh now and you'll be caught up live, properly live. Anyway, Shiano the Shade, $20 dues. Hey, High Rollers. Took me a month, but finally caught up from episode 1 and now finishing episode 124. Amazing. We'll be at work when you see this. Clear skies for a clear Aerois. Love you all. I have too many ideas thanks to you, Mark, and I will never run any of them because I'm too tired. That's okay. That's okay. Lazy Dragon Live, $115 dues and 94 cents. Thank you very much. Hi, Rollers. Found you like a month ago and just want to say how much you're helping me beat depression. Hope my gifted subs make the community happy and bring some joy into their day. Love y'all. Cloudy skies with a chance of rain from Austria. Thank you very much, Lazy Dragon Live. There you go. If you received a gifted sub from Lazy Dragon Live, be sure to thank them. And Discretizer with a half hundo. Thank you very much. Happy to donate to a DM and players who have provided so much entertainment and inspiration over the entirety of the campaign. Looking forward to the epic conclusion and whatever comes next. Yeah, whatever comes next. What indeed. SB Fire 22 with a quarter hundo. Hey guys, I finally caught up and can watch live. Have a little dono from me. Welcome. Thank you very much, SB Fire. P.S. Tom, my Reynard pin came in and it is the best one.
Tom, you don't need to donate to prove these things.
Fuck off!
Yes, I'm so glad I got back to hear that.
That wasn't me. Icy Black Angels. Oh no, wait. Icy Black Aegis has donated. Sorry if I said that completely wrong. Hi, Rollers. The past year and a half has been so amazing watching and catching up on Aerois and Curse of Strahd. This is my first time watching live, and I hope you all have an amazing day. Keep rolling high, and I will keep telling others about the stream. That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. Tell your friends. Thank you very much, Icy Black. Aegis, maybe. Thank you. Silvera 1985. So excited to get to see you guys live. I usually work Sundays, but have the rare day off. Thanks to you all, I started DMing a homebrew game. Awesome. Also, Thanks, Mark, for the inspiration. My group is really liking my game. Glad to hear it. Thank you very much, Silvera. And Cloud Engine with $125.
Wow.
125.
Wow.
My God. There's quite a lot of generous donations in here. Kim, Katie, Trot, Mark, Tom, Ree, y'all are absolutely amazing storytellers. You've made the last few months so wonderful. First time I'm watching live, so here's $1 for each episode until now. Oh my God, you're right.
Holy crap.
Right, this is 125.
Wow.
Love you. And overcast clear skies from Seattle. I'm liking this new version of Clear Skies where people also give
like
me
a weather
the
report.
weather in their region as well. It's
It's quite good. It's quite fun.
Yeah. Clear skies with a little bit of snow. Oh, cool. Great. Now I know what the weather's like in Seattle. Thank you very much, Cloud Engine. Please continue sending weather reports. That's my new favorite thing for some reason. I'm suddenly obsessed. And that is all caught up for now. I will read the rest at the very end of the episode. I didn't expect Mark to still be gone. I don't know why that.
Hey, while Tom is leaving and getting...
I guess I'll go then.
Oh, what are you going to say?
No.
What have you done to him? Why is he leaving in a huff?
I didn't let him finish, so he's now angry about that. Hey, there's something you can't be angry about, and that is checking out Penny Dragon's new awesome installment of the Mag of Holding, the Gothic Horror. Please check out the links in chat right now. It's a fantastic installment where it has Gothic-themed stuff. So if you like Curse of Strahd, that sort of thing, and you're running a one-shot and you need some extra arsenal in your GM toolkit, hey, maybe check that one out, please. They're awesome. Thank you very much. And also D&D Beyond are great, but we all know that.
Yeah. You should check your connection stuff as well, Trot.
Check my connection stuff.
Yeah.
It's glitchy.
It went very glitchy there again for a bit.
There's very little I can do, I'm afraid, other than pray to the Virgin Gods, which doesn't sound right.
You got no downloads going, I imagine.
I don't know.
No. I'm just making sure that like Adobe Creative Suite isn't like, I'm going to update now, lol.
That would be a download restriction rather than an upload restriction.
Yeah, that's weird. Oh well. I've got to wait for Tom to come back anyway.
Stop downloading anime.
Stop downloading anime, exactly. Thanks, Nightjar.
I love anime.
Great advice. I do too. I love it.
I watch it so often.
More. Yeah, you're such a big fan.
Name every one.
Name every anime.
Every single one.
Okay, well, do you want A to Z or...
let's do A to Z. Start with the A's that you know.
I'll start with action anime. So we've got Abashiri Family, Absolute Duo,
don't look up
Magical...
anything. You close that Google page. You close it.
What? I don't have a memory.
No, I can see you reading. You can watch your eyes like... just like this, just like...
That's where I look for recalling memories, Mark.
Yeah, sorry.
That's where everyone looks.
You read your mind palace.
Bottom right?
Right. We got everyone back? Everyone good? Kim's making a face. Is that Kim's desperately looking at her notes face? Is that what that is?
I'm trying to figure out some questions, but it's probably fine because I won't need them because I'll probably just go insane anyway.
Probably.
Safe, so.
All right. Nice.
It's all good.
We return to you all arriving back in Horizon, having travelled from the Halls of Infinite Resplendence. What's the plan?
That's a solid question there, DM Mark Humes.
Yeah.
And that is one that, thankfully, Kim has all the answers. Take it away, Kim.
Oh, God.
Right? I mean, let's not put it all on Kim. I reckon Rhiannon Gower also has all of those answers as well.
Thank you, Rhiannon. Take it away.
Hello. I have one.
Yeah? What's your one? What's your one answer?
I think Sentry will retreat back into the quarters for a quiet minute to commune with Root.
Cool. I also want to give Kim more time to come up with questions.
Yeah. I feel like Sentry would like take all the cushions like off the chairs and stuff and make a little like nest on the floor and like just sit on the comfy floor have a little meditative moment, summon Root, and have a little chat.
You feel that familiar sensation of your vision changing into this golden river where you can sense all of these guardian spirits kind of flowing around you like souls, and this one larger presence at the heart of it all, almost like a great rock or a big tree in the middle of a stream. The other spirits kind of flow around it, which makes it easy to identify. And you feel that familiar kind of presence of Root kind of stretching through. Sentinel Prime. How can I aid you?
Hi, Root. It's getting busy in here. Lots of new faces.
Your work at the City of Glass brought many new souls into the Matrix and relieved many of our companions into new forms. I knew that you were the right choice as my successor.
Thank you. I'm so happy to see them here. It brings me a lot of comfort. I've got a few questions.
Of course. I will do what I can to aid you.
The Guardians were in the Feywild.
Is that a question?
Why? They were there. Why were they there?
The Guardians spread across all planes in our existence. We were the peacekeepers of the multiverse, there to provide aid to those in need, to smite evil where it was found. We were numerous. We were many. Many found homes across the plains. But when Hadar became a great threat to all Guardians were summoned to serve in one final army. I was the last. Tom loses it at the weirdest fucking shit. Like, it's just like, it kills him.
I don't know why that got me so much.
It got you real good.
It was just not a question at all.
I was just waiting. I was like,
Go on. Guardians were in Feywild? Question mark.
Bruh?
Question mark?
Don't. I don't need second-hand laughter.
What's up with that?
What happened?
Don't embroil me in this.
What's up with these Guardians in the Feywild?
Wacky Guardians in the Feywild.
Yeah. That was the answer you got.
Thank you.
They were... I'm not going to repeat myself.
I didn't hear it.
I know. Too bad.
Well, we're looking to make our way back there soon to help a friend. Is there a way we can get there from Aerois? Is there like some gateway we can go through? Is there... I don't know, is there a connection?
Aerois is protected by the Cradle that prevents many normal forms of planar travel. Your ally, Keelake, carries one such method to bypass this barrier. A gift from the god Hesper. But there are others. The archways, created long ago, once connected many worlds, including Aerois. But Lunaria, the Feywild as it is sometimes called, is a realm hidden within the Twilight Nebula. Reaching there without a Fey guide is nearly impossible. Even the Guardians, we forged alliances with centaurs, with satyr, unicorns. They acted as our guides when we had needs to travel to their realm.
Okay. And, if we ever do get there, is there anyone, anything that would give us concern? I know that Starbane's there, or has been there.
This is
But other than
troubling
that-
to me. I was not aware that Valkyrian's empire stretched so far. But the Feywild is a fickle place. Lunaria is a plane ruled by many kings and queens, lords and ladies, dukes and duchesses. All have their own ambitions, and their temperaments are as fickle as the winds themselves. Many can be cruel and malicious, others kind but naive. Be cautious. Not everything you meet there will be as it seems.
Okay. Thank you, Root. Hopefully we can get there soon and help our friend. We don't have long.
You are kind-hearted. But always remember, the power of the Guardians will always be with you. And you just feel your consciousness pulled back through the river till all are one. And then you come to in the quarters.
Okay. Sentry will then, she will leave and then rejoin the party.
Cool. Okay.
After tidying up, of course.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Put all the cushions back where they were. Yeah, sounds good.
I got time.
Nova, you ready? Or does anybody else want to do stuff?
Yeah, let's try this. I mean, it may put me out of action if I don't roll a high enough save, but I'm sure we can deal with that.
Sure. Are you doing this with, like, Thalia with you? Is anybody else with you? What's going down?
Quill, do you have any spells or anything that can perhaps help me cast my spell? Anything that maybe gives me a buff to
Guidance?
intelligence saving throws?
Resistance for saving throws.
Do I know
Sentry can
about
bless.
this spell? Yeah, I'm just figuring out what I'd actually
Make an
need to do
Arcana
to-
check. Let's see if you know about the spell. It's not a cleric spell, but it is a wizard spell, which means that I'm willing to let you make an Arcana check. Oh,
15?
just 15 is just enough. Actually, it's DC 10 plus the spell level. What Nova means when she's talking about contacting Mesmera, she likely means the spell Contact Other Plane, which is a very dangerous spell. Unlike the sort of prayers and divinations that you would use to, say, contact Hesper, or another cleric of a god might use to commune with their deity, Contact Other Plane can be used by more arcane spellcasters, like wizards, to contact other beings. Beings very powerful, beings like demigods or archfey, or
Hadar.
beings like Hadar, for example. And often this is often used by things like cults and cultists to kind of commune with these beings that they refer to or see as deities. You would also know it can lead to madness. Like, people cast this spell and sometimes it's too much for their minds to contain. Some of these beings just have a natural sort of backlash for being contacted.
Cool. In that case, I know what kind of mental fortitude they will need to make this saving throw.
I would also say you would know that if there are any adverse effects, the Greater Restoration spell would likely get rid of them if there is any sort of lingering deliberations.
I also know that the effects last until the long rest, so I'll just knock her out, I guess.
Could do that.
Okay. Yeah, in that case, I will bless Nova.
Right.
And
So D4.
that means that you'll be able to make a D4 to your saving throw for this, which isn't huge, but might be enough. Might just be enough.
So
Would that stack with my aura? Sorry.
Dropped out real quick.
Yes, it would. Yeah, your aura does stack with any sort of like bonus dice and stuff, I believe. So yeah, as long as you're next to Nova.
Tom, did you say ability
Saving throw.
or saving throw? Okay, cool. Yeah.
Cool. Also, I might just do resistance as well and just hold that in Elder Quill And that also gives you an extra d4 to your saving throw.
And they do stack.
Okay.
Yeah. With this old dual concentration boy over here, he can do that.
Wow.
But that means you're summoning Elder Quill out of the staff, out of the spear.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's quite OP.
Okay. And then Sentry's going to stand near you, so you get a what bonus? An extra...
+3.
Another +3. So 2d4 +3 on top of your normal intelligence saving throw.
Ayla will stand at you and give you a thumbs up.
Okay.
Real helpful. You're welcome.
You can stand behind Nova with the hammer, and if she comes out of it and goes crazy, you knock Nova out.
Yeah, do that. I imagine actually I'd probably do this in like whatever bedroom we have in Horizon, like I in the kind of like
you have your suite,
yeah, the suite, and bit cramped, bit messy. There's lots of laundry and books everywhere. And I'm just gonna take a deep breath, nod at Thalia, nod at everyone else, and I think as I start to cast the spell, I almost imagine that I would be holding Tiangong in my hands, and runes, like words, would be coming off of Tiangong as trying to almost make a connection, form the words, and kind of reach out, because this is contact other plane, right? So I would imagine as well, like they almost meld and merge into a point of silver light that beams out from the tip of Tiangong in through the ceiling and then out, and then it would just, probably invisible to the naked eye, but imagine like a beam of light just shooting out from Aerois across the astral sea, across the plains, and trying to find wherever Mesmera is. Of course, I have to make the saving throw first, so
you do.
So it is a DC 15 intelligence saving throw.
Set per the spell.
So I roll a natural 1.
Oh my god.
Well, you do get 2d4 and another +3 to that. So you can do that as a custom roll.
You need to roll a perfect roll, 2 4s, and you will pass this.
No.
No. 4 and a 1.
Excellent.
So,
first of all,
yeah.
let me do the 66 of psychic damage you're going to take.
We had a long rest in all
I didn't even have. Do you know what? I didn't. You have not had a long rest since the fight with Zephyr, I don't believe.
So I reset my character sheet because we were practicing some other things. So
yeah, that's fine. You had a long rest then.
Are you sure? Because I think I was down to like 40 something.
No, it's fine. Okay. It's not about that. It's more the cool story narrative. Where can I roll dice if I don't have my... Tom, can you do this for me? Because I don't have the... Because it's not a combat encounter. I can't physically roll dice. Can you do 66 psychic?
Yeah. I rolled pretty well. 26.
26 psychic damage to Nova. And... and you are insane.
Yeah.
I love that that's like the phrasing of it. You are insane. So DM's guide, there is a madness table.
I imagine while Mark's looking this up, I imagine that what it looks like is, at first it looks like the spell is going fine, right? It all looks magical, it's all looking good. And then you see that beam of light just sputtering and kind of fizzing and breaking up, and all the glyphs just start breaking apart.
I've got a thing. I've got a thing for this. Don't you worry about that. I got a thing for this. Don't worry. Because it does connect. Because it's not that it doesn't reach her. It reaches her. Oh yeah, it reaches her. Yeah, and then there's consequences. Tom, roll a D100 for me, please.
Oh. Should Kim roll a D100?
No. I want you to roll it.
Okay. Oh, whoops! I just rolled way too many. My bad.
Not that. Not 127.
38.
38.
My messed up roll was a 64 and a 63. Wow.
Oh, you have rolled an absolutely perfect one. Thank you very much.
Contact Saddam.
Man. So,
yeah, connect the wrong line.
silver light passes through. None of your characters know this, but we see the silver light passing through the astral space, and eventually it disappears into this kind of shifting nebula of magic. Imagine like multicolored purple kind of light magic forming this spatial nebula. It passes through that, and then it finds its way onto a beautiful world. Verdant greenery. You can see mountains that seem almost mystically, legendarily tall. Like mountains actually peak up into astral space. They're so high. There are forests so big they would be entire continents. Everything about this place that we see is completely magical. There are like fairy tale classes, entire cities made out of one giant hollowed out fallen tree that's just formed this enormous giant city. We see plains, like these rolling hills with unicorns, herds of unicorns traveling across it. And the beam finds its way into a kingdom where there is this particularly large spire that seems to stretch up amongst these beautiful palatial grounds. There is actually a giant hedgerow labyrinth that completely surrounds the kingdom, and the beam passes in. We don't see where it goes after that. Nova, you're kind of waiting for this connection, and you feel something. You feel it connect with a mind, and when it does, there is this sense of an invasion. Like you have just invaded like this person's mind, like kind of almost interrupted their conversation like mid-flow, or like just pried into their thoughts. And there is this immediate kind of like, get out, and you feel this like reverberation through your mind, but it also seems to connect with yours, and it senses the desire of why you've reached out to it. It senses these questions that you were going to ask. Just out of interest, what were the questions you were going to ask? You're not going to get any answers.
All of them.
Yeah.
Okay. What can I do as an offering to break the curse? What can I do to prove you that Thalia has changed? What can Thalia do to atone? Can you come to Aerois now? And then the last one was a bit of a push in my luck, but I was going to say, if she dies, it strikes me that you are doing to me what she did to you, forcing someone to lose someone she loves. Doesn't that make you no better than her old self?
I was going to say that wasn't a question until that last part.
Guardians are from Feywild.
There is intense hate, sensing these questions, this purpose that you have reached for it. And you just hear, and you can sense that the person you've connected to is so deeply hurt, that revenge and bitterness is so set in what they are doing. You just hear this just like, no. And your mind is filled with images. You see Thalia, as you know her now, this kind of like long green haired, dark skinned kind of woman, like standing over from your perspective view, and she has like a jagged piece of like glass in like dripping with blood, and she's laughing and pointing at you. You can see her burning, like flying over this beautiful thatched cottage, watching it burn and laughing. She is pulling away this kind of like homely looking fella, and she's pulling him away as you're like calling out, and you can see your hands reaching for him and everything else. You're witnessing like all this pain and torment that this person went through, and as you kind of come out of it and you look on Thalia, there is this lingering revulsion. This was the result of the Madness table. This is as if it was the antipathy spell. You can't even really look at Thalia. Like, it's hard to look at her without seeing this twisted version of the woman that you've come to know. And yeah, just completely leaves you rattled. Can you roll a d10 for me, please, Kim? I know that the spell says it ends on a long rest, but I'm taking some liberties.
Okay. 6.
Okay, yeah. You don't know how long this is going to last, but like, yeah, it's like you almost want to be sick, like looking at Thalia, like after seeing this like horrible image of her and stuff.
So, does the other things come into context? So while in saying you can't take actions, you can't understand what people say, you can only speak in gibberish.
I'm going to say that instead of those things, the revulsion thing, because I don't like that, the just you can speak in gibberish one. It's just too boring. I think that like I'd rather have the madness be something like more story connected, and like this was a perfect role for it.
If anything, it probably would be a sort of gibberish as Nova comes back to herself, opens her eyes, sees Thalia in front of her, and just immediately has that physical revulsion, like almost, I guess,
you
feeling what Mesmera felt. Like, so I would push myself back on the bed, like push myself to a corner and be like, get out, get out, get out. I saw what you did. I saw what you did. Get away from me. Get away from me.
All the rest of you just watch as Thalia's heart breaks, and she just steps away from Nova and puts her hands up, and you can just see like tears in her eyes, and she's like, I'm so sorry. And then she just runs. She runs out the room. Like, just... Yeah.
And I think it would just be a continuance of all of that. I'm burning my skin. It was burning. It was... Why did you have to do that? Why did you have to do that? And Nova just turns into the corner, just like coiled in
shivering
on herself.
And
just like
shaking and like trembling and stuff, yeah.
And just howling and crying.
I think Sentry just rush over and try and comfort her. Like, Nova's in distress. Like, Sentry's gonna try and help her.
Yeah, just trembling. Like, you can feel like Nova physically just uncontrollably shaking and like gibbering and like mumbling and stuff like that.
Sentry,
definitely.
It's okay. It's okay.
She burnt out. She took everything she loved. Everything.
It's okay, Nova. Calm down. It's okay.
I can't look at her. I can't be near her. Please.
Nova, look at me. Nova, look at me. I'm trying to like get her just to concentrate, like focus on my face, something just to ground her.
I think that if you physically grab, like, you're not strong enough to fend off Sentry if she like turns your head, really.
But like force me, just like gently, try and give her some grounding.
Okay, sure.
I'm gonna be sick. I can't.
Nova,
I can't.
It's okay. Just focus on me. It'll be okay.
And it's just, I think just for the purposes of the insanity, like, there is no calming Nova down. It's over and over.
Yeah, it probably could get to the point where like Nova stops speaking, but the trembling, the like muttering, like Nova can't get those images out of her head. Like she's, like eventually there could be a point where like Nova could speak as long as Thalia's not in the room. But as soon as like she sees Thalia, this would all come flooding back, basically. But yeah. What's the rest? What is everyone else doing? Like, Sentry's rushed over to Nova.
I'm devastated. I don't know what to do. I know that I can't really help Nova because I know the magical effect that has taken root in her mind. And
you definitely know that this is a consequence of like, and I think Quill would be smart enough in magic to know that the person on the other end kind of did this to Nova, whether or not it was like malicious or intentional, but it was a direct, like, she tapped into the mind of this Mesmera, and this is the result of it, right? Like,
I mean, this is also Mesmera still feels this much hatred after all this time, after centuries, that it's enough to inflict this much madness in the mind of someone just trying to tap into it for a second. Like,
again, you don't know if that was intentional. You don't know if she purposely did this to Nova, or this is just a consequence of like touching the mind of this being. But yeah, it definitely is. Like you said, it's still lingering there for all this time.
Yeah, I don't know what everyone else.
I don't think Ayla would know.
Yeah, Ayla would just
spell that did that. She would just think that Nova has changed her mind, like, and she's seen it, and that's
like
it.
Something's
So I get Ayla doesn't know what to do because she's like Sentry's taking care of the emotional things. So Nova mentioned that she might throw up, so Ayla's gonna find a bucket and like some water and like a blanket and just be like, try and give those to Sentry to pass on to Nova, but she doesn't, and she'll probably like keep an eye on the door in case Thalia was to come back because she knows that Nova doesn't want to see her. So she'll just try and defend Nova and give her what she needs, but she can't, like, she's got nothing to give her in terms of wisdom because she doesn't really understand how that feels.
The pragmatic support is very fitting for Ayla, I think, for sure. Yeah.
Trot.
Yeah, I mean, I know that I can also remove the madness. I know I can do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's Lucius doing?
Lucius is paralyzed by secondhand hysteria, seeing Nova that distraught and almost completely unconsolable, right? Like Sentry's not getting through to her. He's panicking. He's kind of like paralyzed by like seeing Saya run off, have empathy in that regard. Nova far more so, and just being helpless, and then kind of gripping Quills like, what can we do to Nova? What?
Well, this is a magical madness that has set in here. I can remove that, but I can't help but try to think about what she did see.
Yeah, because none of you saw it. None of you saw that. You've just seen Nova's reaction.
Can you take that away from her? Can you help her?
It's magical. This is an effect on her.
It is. I can remove that, but I can't take away what she saw. But I can at least take it away for now to remove the effect. And yeah, I'll in that case, I have the resources for a greater restoration.
100 GP diamond dust.
Yes, I have 3 of them, in fact. Cool. So I'll mark one of those off. And
so, like, you kind of come up behind Sentry and, like, do you, like, place a weighing on Nova or, like, you know, how's this look?
I sort of, while Sentry is trying to comfort her, I'll sort of go to the side and place, like, a talon onto the very center of her forehead and try and radiate the madness away, I suppose. So we see this kind of glowing golden light from Quill's tip of his talon, and it spreads through Nova's body. And Nova, you feel this like this sense of like this feeling washes over you, and it takes away that kind of, you realize that the feelings and like the revulsion towards Thalia was imposed upon you magically, but the memories are still like, you still remember what you saw. Now it's just you're not being influenced by this other person's mind to make your own mind up about what it means, and like, you know, what, you know, to kind of like sympathize with Thalia, because before the madness was preventing you from even trying to understand. You were just repulsed by her presence. Like, you couldn't stand to be near her. That's now gone, but the memories are still there. So I'm going to leave you decide how that obviously is, you know, looks for Nova. But there is that definite, like, the shaking would stop, the kind of muttering would stop, all of this kind of like imposed madness would vanish from Nova.
I guess as the kind of golden light washes over and does the work, the first thing that Nova would see is probably Quill and Sentry, and would look around and see the lack of Thalia, and then remember exactly what she said. And I think she wouldn't have anything to say. She would just start crying again and throw herself on Quill and Sentry and just dissolve.
It's just a bit calmer. There's more of a sadness to a panic, to a wildness now. There is just sorrow.
More a sort of, I know what I've done now, and I know that I've hurt her, and that would have hurt her. And the sorrow of that. But also just feeling too weak to do anything. Like, just, I think that whole minute, that whole, however long she was mad, would have exhausted her. And there is, like, if she doesn't have the strength to stand up or move, like, she's just jelly. So it would just be sobbing now.
Sentry just like wrap her up.
I think Lucius, seeing that she's fully embraced with people like Sentry, he's going to nod at Quill and just say, "Well done. I'm going to see Thalia."
I'm going to come with you, Lucius. We need to go and find her.
Nice. You guys make your way out, and like, how are you going to find her? Like, she ran off, and like in the time it's taken to like do this, like, you don't know where she's gone. Like,
Ayla can run pretty fast. I think Ayla's just going to run and try and find like that. That's the thing that she can do is find someone quickly and try and use any skills she has to get there.
Yeah, give me like a survival check for Ayla then, right? I think you've got training in survival, don't you? Because of your days as like a woodland type elf, like running around.
However, 13.
Yeah, it's not a high DC. The woman ran off in tears. It's not a mixture of like tracking because you're in sort of like the keep, but you're like, hey, you speak to a guard, like, where did the crying elf lady go? And he's like, oh yeah, she ran off that way and stuff like that. And like you realize that actually Thalia doesn't really know this place very well, so she would pick obvious like pathways, and she'd probably just be trying to get out. So you start heading your way down towards like the nearest sort of exit out onto the actual, you know, city, or like out into the streets or something like that. And you realize that the nearest place isn't necessarily like out into the city, but it is a balcony that overlooks the docks and the districts and things like that. Yeah, the guards kind of point you, and you and Lucius kind of trotting sort of behind you, huffing and puffing a little ways behind. But you eventually find kind of Thalia just kind of like leaning up against the railing, sort of like rubbing her face, and just sort of like looking out, like breathing, like she's just taking like big deep breaths of air.
I think Ayla will just walk up and lean on the railing next to her and just stand there for a second, and then just eventually say, you know that was brought on by magic, don't you? It's gone now.
I'm not much of a wizard, but I vaguely understood what Nova was trying to do. But some of the effects were, yes, but I still know what she saw. I know what Mesmera would have shown her. The darkest, absolute worst, but 100% true part of me that I had hoped was gone, that I hoped I'd never have to relive, but seeing Nova's face just brought it all back. And even if that magic is gone, even if Quill can heal the enchantment or whatever it was away, Nova's still going to remember what she saw there. And Ayla, I mean, you're a warrior, right? You've seen a lot of death. You've probably seen a lot of cruelty in your life, but this isn't like a soldier's cruelty. This isn't a war. This is just malicious and vain and cruel for the sake of cruelty. And I just don't think that she can look at me.
Did. This witch.
I don't even think she.
To Nova.
I don't even think she knows what she's doing.
Of course she does, Thalia. She knows what she's shown her. She knows what she's doing. She's doing it to get back at you. This whole curse, everything she does is to get back at you. But Nova's a smart girl, and she's going to make up her mind, and all you can do is wait this out. Let her have a moment. Come back to her. I'm not going to let this one go, because Nova needs this, and I need her to be happy. So should we just hang out here for now? Yes, she does.
Does she? I've brought her nothing but pain. This is... Sure, it was a nice dream. I get that. It was a nice dream for me too, but the fact is that... And she kind of looks up like, what next? You're going to go help me get rid of this? You're going to face off against the woman that did that to Nova? For what? For somebody who did those things? It's not like it was an illusion. It wasn't like it was a trick. The things she was shown were real. They were things I did.
Sure, but she just crossed another bridge. She just tormented my friend, who had nothing to do with this to start with. So yeah, absolutely, I'll fight her. You just need to give it a little bit of time. And yes, she does need this. The freaking world's on fire. There's a freaking Hadar trying to eat everything. Starbane's a prick. You know, everything's shit. She needs this. I'm not giving up on it, and you better not either. I'm going to stop
I don't want to give up
trying to say mushy words now, and I'm going to let Lucius say nice things, because all I want to do is punch something, and I can't reach the witch that did that right now.
Fair enough. She kind of turns and looks at Lucius.
Frankly, Ayla, I have nothing better to say. I'm impressed.
We killed a Titan today. I'm on a bit of a high. I have words. I need to punch things more.
I
need to do that later.
I still disagree with you, Ayla. I don't think Mesmera did that on purpose. I don't think she did. I think that if she did, it was a lashing out. It was a reaction, something that maybe she didn't even realize the full extent of what she was doing. I mean, I don't blame her. Like, somebody tried to get into my mind, bringing up a name that she hates. I mean, I don't even know what Nova asked for, but I imagine it was along the lines of like, how can we free Thalia? How can we undo this thing that you've done? I can only imagine that it was almost instinctual to show her the person that I was. I don't even know anymore. I've spent my whole life fighting and stealing and breaking things, and I just think that maybe if we can find a way back to Heartspire, I'm not sure if punching stuff and fighting stuff is going to be the way to solve this. As much as I would like to punish her for doing that to Nova, for hurting Nova, I just don't know if that's the right call.
Well, we'll find out when we get there then.
Don't forget, this reasoning, this person that you are now, that is what Nova sees. And like Ayla says, she's smart.
She is.
Too smart. Like, ridiculously so. Kind of
It's
on the
a little
verge of
scary.
annoying kind of smart.
Yes, it's worrying. It's troubling,
yeah.
and I'm not good at thinkies. However, as far as I'm concerned, she knows you completely, honestly.
I think she does now. I guess now we'll just see. You know, before it was easy to kind of dismiss when somebody tells you that they used to be a bad person. When it's just words, right? It's easy to forgive that, to say, "Oh, well, I'm sure you're different. I'm sure you've changed." But maybe now that Nova's seen it, she can make a proper decision. She can decide if she still wants to help me, or if she still wants to be with me. I'm not going to go anywhere, but I need her to come to me. I can't go to her. Not until I know she's ready.
All right. Will you be here?
I think I just need to, I just need to go somewhere, like not be here. Maybe I'll go find the Twin Star. I think that's probably the best place for me right now. Yeah, I want to be with my ship. And she'll kind of like step up. She kind of slaps Ayla on the shoulder, like a kind of like, sort of like, hey, thanks kind of gesture. And then she goes to like shake Lucius's hand, probably. She'll just sort of offer her hand. Just tell Nova I'll be in the Twin Star.
He'll turn the shake into a hug.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, she does the slapping back thing, sort of like, thanks, both of you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. She'll head off.
And I mean it, I will fight people. Just point me somewhere.
I know.
Bye.
I know.
All right. I guess we'll head back and let Nova know, depending on how she is when we get back.
Yeah. I mean, before you get back, don't worry, Nova. Lucius and Ayla, they've gone to find Thalia. And Ayla has been especially wordy today, but it's probably saying a lot about fighting things, punching things, wanting to punch and fight things, fighting and punching. I doubt she's thinking about kicking, definitely whacking. So I think she'll get through to Thalia.
I want to punch all the things too. Today has been a very long and trying day.
Well, if you want to, don't punch me. You're not very strong, but you'll snap me in half.
I maybe just dribbled and snotted on your cloak instead. Sorry.
Yep, and my feathers.
Sorry about that. Little bit of water will wash that right out. Thank you, friends. That was a lot. I saw everything. Mesmera, I think, well, the spell went wrong. She didn't answer any of my questions, but she filled my mind with everything that Thalia then did to her. And I felt it. I felt the heat of the flames. I felt my heart break as I watched her partner walk away. It was like, you know, when you have a dream and all emotions feel so much bigger. It was awful. But seeing Thalia, what she did when she left, that felt worse. I think I just need some sleep. I can't think anymore. I just want to sleep.
You hear a kind of little cough come from the suite, and you look over and you can see both Arvel and Petal have been stood there the entire time. And Arvel's like, "It's okay. We made up. We got a bedroom ready. We just set a few things aside. We got some cushions and blankets and that sort of thing in there. We figured we didn't know what was happening, so we just figured maybe we'd make ourselves useful over there."
I can make some tea. Would you like some tea?
Yes, Sentry. Thank you.
All
then
right.
I'll just go.
Yeah, Arthur will probably come over and he'll probably kind of like, you know, probably take your hand kind of thing and be like, "Come on, you know, I've had a couple of problems in my love life over the years, and you know, I've had it. Let me tell you all about it." And he kind of rattles off. He starts like telling you about his one of his ex-wives and one of his ex-husbands and sort of all these sorts of things as he's kind of like taking you away. And he's sort of like, "Oh yeah."
Do any of the names match up to his, what was it, his crossbow? Remember his crossbow had a name.
Well, he does. They don't. But do you ask him about that?
Yeah,
Evangeline?
like, was any of them called whatever that crossbow name was?
We don't talk about Evangeline. And he kind of like pats you. Okay. She's the one that will always be in here. And he just taps his little heart and he's just like, "Yeah. But you know, I've had many lovers in my time. The stories I can tell you." He's like luring you away kind of thing. Old
oh my gosh.
Super bisexual dad Arvel. Yeah.
Dad mode, yeah. Dad mode activate.
And kind of takes you away, and I think Petal probably kind of like sneaks in, and like you can see that in the bedroom, like a number of like really quite like fragrant plants have been set out, like where the like your bedroom, like all the cushions and blankets have been set up. Petal's instead like moved loads of plants in here, and there's like a little music box, like a little kind of Tinker's music box playing, and she's just sort of like, "I didn't know what to do." It kind of
There's
like
music,
ease
though.
you in. Yeah, it's like, and it's quite relaxing and stuff, sort of like that. Yeah,
I'm guessing like Lucius and Ayla.
Yeah, they probably come back as the Arvel and Petal take Nova into a room, basically.
That was a lot. Did you find Thalia?
We did. Ayla said some frankly, very good words. And Thalia's struggling, of course, and is worried about what Nova thinks. We'll go speak to Nova.
What now? I think,
Oh, is she resting?
Rest for now. We need to figure out how we're going to get to this Feywild. I don't really have many ideas myself. Do we have any Feywild guides?
I spoke to Root, and he mentioned about archways to Lunaria. I don't know where they'd be on Aerois, though.
Right. I don't know very much about Fey other than I'm Fey. I think I'm Fey. Right?
You had that crown as well, remember?
Exactly, and maybe that just unlocked my true Fey. Maybe if I focus or something, I could...
A crown? Wait, did I miss this? When did this happen?
Oh, you did miss this.
Yes.
Yeah. You were out of commission.
Wait, did I miss it?
I mean, Sentry knows that she was dead for a time.
I know, but it's not something that you want to... It's a bit uncomfortable to talk about a person's death, you know?
Oh, no, wait, I think I was dead.
Sorry,
too.
you were dead.
I think you
were dead too. You were
It was
both
when
dead.
Perry
The whole
came
river
out.
thing.
Yeah.
I know.
I heard.
It took a lot to remove that crown from me.
It was awful. It was a terrible crown. It made him very irritating. His voice went really high pitched.
Higher than this?
You wouldn't think it was possible, but it was. It was quite something.
Wow.
If I put if I found another crown, I would be Fey, and therefore an anchor. Something I'd suddenly be filled with the knowledge of the Feywild. I just know it.
I don't want him to put the crown on again.
Would your voice be high-pitched again?
I assume it would. I would sprout beautiful wings.
Let's put a pin in it.
What did you say about the wings?
I had beautiful wings, Sentry. It was glorious. Frankly, I loved it. I'll say it now. I bloody loved it. I looked glorious. I swear my skin was glistening.
I can imagine it. I've
tried topical creams ever since to try and match that look, and I just simply can't get there.
Well, let's put a pin.
Find a crown.
Let's put a pin in finding a Fey artifact that turns Lucius into a glistening-skinned.
He had wings.
Fairy.
He had
wings.
Fairy wings.
Don't forget the wings.
You've seen fairies before. Like, you guys have encountered fairies and sprites.
Except they were like really big because they were like Lucius size, fairy wings, really high pitched voice, flowers everywhere.
I had longer ears and everything. It was phenomenal.
Longer ears.
Ah, the days.
Just a lot.
Anyway.
I mean, you're talking about the days they weren't great days for us.
No, of course not. No, it's a terrible time. Terrible time, but great wings. Either way, maybe that's an option. I'm not sure what else to go on. I don't know anyone that's of Fey ancestry that would be so apparent.
Now, I cannot remember anything about Rose Meadow except she's a centaur.
But I
will say this. You've not seen any other centaurs on Aerois. Yeah.
I can't remember if she was just Fey-like, though, like they were saying the elves were.
Here's a fucking idea, Tom Hazel. Go fucking ask her.
How about... No. Literally.
It's like, she could be. We'll never know.
I'm going to rock up to her
read the
and
book.
say, I have a question.
He read the book with the fairy story in it about what happened with Thalia, and did it not mention... I'm pretty sure you went through a list of creatures that lived in this land or something, and they said centaurs.
No,
Root mentioned centaurs. Root mentioned centaurs to Sentry. Yeah.
So Sentry knows!
So Sentry knows. and is yet to communicate it. It's all role playing.
I said about centaurs.
She did just say, just as we all launched into an attack on Tom, essentially, Rhiannon was just like, oh, rude. Like, I can see you trying to get a word in.
Oh, right, okay.
Centaurs.
All right, well, let's find Rosemeadow, and I have a question for her, and it is, Rosemeadow from Feywild.
Feywild, though? Yeah, I mean, you know that she's here on Horizon. You can go find her little shop. You know, it's probably closing time. It's getting to like early evening. So by the time you rock down there, you probably hear her more before you see her, because she's probably saying goodbye to a customer, and you can hear like clip clop on the cobblestones. And you can see her like folding her little tent stand down. And you just hear, oh my goodness, thank you so much. Bye bye. Lovely to see you. And then, yeah, you hear like the clip clop on the stones. And then as you round the corner, she's like winding all of her like tent down, basically.
You know what? I had a similar voice to Rosemeadow. It's sort of all making sense now. Yes, she could well be.
Definitely not getting a crown. Okay.
Okay.
Rosemeadow.
She turns around, kind of startled, and then big sparkly anime eyes. Birdie! And then she like gallops up to you and like throws her arms around you, and she's strong. Like Rosemedow's actually surprisingly strong. She like lifts you up and is like, "Yay!" Like,
yeah, I'll lift my arms up so that I know she's gonna do it.
Yeah, she like picks you up and hugs you, like, "Who's my favorite little bird? Yes, you are. No, you're so cute.
I am.
Yay!"
Okay, Rosemeadow,
kind of
wait,
like, she's like, "Have you been using those special ointments, the feather ointments I gave you last time? You haven't, have you?"
I have, but Nova drooled on me a second ago, so...
Oh, okay,
you know,
okay. Oh, we'll put that down to that one. She like puts
okay.
Hello, my friends. How are you all? I'm so sorry. I've just closed the shop for today.
That's okay. That's okay. We aren't here to buy any healing salves. We are here to get into your mind, ask you some questions.
Oh. Of course, you can ask me anything you like. I won't share any of my secret recipes, though.
It's not about the healing salves, don't worry.
Okay. Is it about crystals? Do you need to know what kind of crystals to put in your room for sleeping? Or do you want to know what kind of herbal ointments to help clear up your skin?
No, but Lucius wants to be sparkly like a fairy.
Yes. Yes,
yes, I can certainly help you with that. Mm-hmm.
You can? Phenomenal.
Yes, of course, yes.
We'll get to that.
You have such fine skin. I would need to make sure we find something, because I don't want it to be, too harsh on your skin. You seem to have very sensitive...
I always came up in a rash, you're right. Yes, I've tried so many options.
Mm-hmm. We need to find the right combination of things, but we can definitely do that, yeah.
Anyway, why are we here? Oh, yeah.
I have a question. Feywild?
Yes? What's the Feywild?
What?
Are you from there?
What is that? Am I from there? I don't know. I don't know where I'm from. Did I not? I think I told you this before. They found me here on Aerois. Nobody knows where I'm from. I don't even know where I'm from.
So the name Lunaria, does that ring a bell?
For the first time, like, the kind of like whimsy of Rosemeadow does kind of go away a little bit, and she's like, Lunaria, that does sound familiar. Do I know a Lunaria? Is that a plant? No, it's not a plant. Oh, it's so familiar though.
It's a place. It's where you're kind of from.
Really? Here on Aerois?
In the Feywild, in Lunaria.
Oh, I've never heard of that place. I didn't really study any geography, though. I mainly learned about lotions and skincare and crystals and herbs and that sort of thing. So where is it? Is it here? I mean, Horizon flies around, right? Can we go there?
It's not on Aerois. It's a different plane.
Wowee, really? How does that work?
Well, there's Aerois, and that's kind of spherical, or is it like flat? I think it's spherical. Maybe? Is it? Anyway,
You
there's
know
another
it's
one.
round. We've been in a spaceship.
Anyway, there's different ones. There's different different ones of these all dotted around out there, and one of them is Lunaria, and we're trying to get there. We're trying to find a way there.
Well, how did I come here then? I mean, I don't remember. I was only little when they found me, and I don't remember anything of before then. That seems awfully like, how would I get here?
That is.
It does explain a few things. I've never seen anybody else like me.
Okay. Now, how do we...
Wowee.
Wow, that's a big wowie. But how do we... It's just... Someone...
I'm out.
She has no idea how she got here. How are we meant to figure out how to get back there?
Hello. I am a space elf, apparently. Don't ask me. Hi.
Is there a way we could connect with Rose Meadow in a way beyond just
Rose
talking?
Medal, that's a funny nickname.
That's quite good, isn't it? Because you're a gold medal to me.
Oh, that's so sweet, Lucius.
I know, yes. Well, if you get that ointment, maybe you could upgrade to platinum.
You're so handsome, and she pinches your cheek.
Nah, I do know that, yes. Anyway.
Getting distracted.
If we could connect with Rose Meadow, maybe we could unravel her ancestry, where she came from, find that anchor, like Senshi was saying. You could be our guide in a way, Rose Meadow.
Well,
like an adventure
I would love,
back to your
I could
homeland.
guide you in some meditations. I could guide you on a new sort of skin routine. I'm happy to guide you wherever you need to go. You are such lovely people. You were so nice to me. Any way that I can return the favor.
Well, how about returning to your homeland for a visit?
Sure. So you want to go back to Kelly's Rest?
No, the Feywild. Lunaris.
Oh, that place that you say I'm from, that I've never been to. Yeah, I'd love to go.
And if we can find a way to unlock those memories that you've forgotten.
Sure.
Great.
You like Quill. Rosemeadow has no idea what you're talking about. Like this is just like
we've got the okay though.
Yeah, like
so now we need to go.
She's like, you need help, and she's happy to help you. But all of the specifics about the Feywild and like tapping into her memory is just like, wow.
All right. Well, we'll be back, Rosemeadow. We won't keep you. We know you're closing up shop. We'll find we'll figure out a plan, and we'll come back.
Sure. Anytime.
Excellent. Brilliant. Well, have a good evening.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
She goes back to sorting out her
okay, she has no idea how she got here, which does...
imagine that voice, but even more
right,
like more annoying.
Yeah,
that's what he was like with the crown.
Yeah, it's subjective. There's differing opinions.
I don't know. Check with Nova when she's here. She'll tell you the same thing. It was grating, piercing.
As a point, when I played Rosemeadow in the one shot that we did, I gave her an intelligence of 8. So,
okay.
I felt that.
Yay, she's like me.
yeah.
So we have something. We have someone potentially, almost certainly from the Feywild.
Might even be
they don't even know it though. So that's a bit of a hurdle, and we need to somehow.
I have a book of infinite knowledge, quote unquote, and the ability to plane shift to any dimension. However, we're not attuned at all to the Feywild.
However,
maybe there's some way to infuse some energy into a crystal before we've even been there. But
I've got an idea. Nova can dream. Right?
Right.
Is there a potential that Nova, potentially with Quill, could she bring other people into that dream? I think she could. Either way, we'll ask her.
I think Nova probably would have explained how the spell works before. She can send somebody else as the messenger in a dream, but she can't
send you, Quill.
You can't have two people. Yeah, she could send Quill, but not.
She sent you into the dream, and perhaps if you investigate, explore her mind's eye, so to speak, her subconscious, to find any sort of visual reference of where she came from, would that be enough for you to teleport us to that?
So she has to enter the dreams of
the Fae.
Who? Oh, the Fae, right.
The location we're trying to get to.
I need to physically be in the place to attune to it.
Oh.
But,
so you can't just like see it and teleport to it?
No, I mean, then I could just look at a picture of it and it would all be so easy. I don't know how else to help. The book can do other things, but not really that. Not really anything useful.
I mean, the book might have abilities you're not aware of, or it might have things that aren't necessarily like mechanical things. It might have like, yeah, it's got like all the charges and stuff down there, but that doesn't mean that's the extent of its powers. You know me, I like creative thinking. I like rewarding, like, hey, can we do this crazy cool thing? Yeah.
Yeah, infusing, instead of being physically in the place, infusing a crystal with
the energy of it.
energy. Maybe we don't hit it necessarily in the exact right place, but we are in the Feywild.
Yeah, that could maybe that could be something you could try. I will say that like there have been multiple people, both Max and Thalia and Root, all mentioned that to traverse anywhere in the Twilight Nebula, you need a Fey creature with you. You need like a guide. That got like the term guide it might not be literal. It could be more like you just need a creature with you. It might mean that you just need like the blessing of a creature of the Feywild.
Yeah,
it's like how a space elf automatically unlocks doors in Starbane ships.
Yeah,
they aren't aware of it, but
would Sentry's little creature, well, not so little anymore, would that count as a Fey creature?
Creature? Oh, you mean the Periton?
Yeah, the Periton.
More of a construct, right?
Yeah, because it's Sentry summoning it. It might have the Fey subtype, but that doesn't make it a true Fey creature. So this is where like I get a little bit wobbly to prevent like, oh, I just summon a Fey creature with a magic spell, right? Like there is a difference between a creature that is created or conjured, having a Fey or demonic type, and a creature that is from that particular place and is inherently that thing. It's in the same way that right now, like, and Thalia mentioned this herself, she knows that her connection to Lunaria is gone. Like she's been away for so long, and also it seems to be that like whatever this curse was has like tampered with that connection. In the same way that like maybe that's the case with Ayla. Like maybe like Ayla is no longer considered to be an elf of Alfheim. Maybe she's considered to be an elf of Aerois. Maybe all of these things, it's all very loose. Like there's never, hard rules are rare to find.
Are Eladrin Fey?
Eladrin are Fey, yes.
Because didn't we just take one prisoner very recently?
I believe you did.
Did we actually take him? Did we take him prisoner?
I believe that you did have him taken prisoner and carted off somewhere by Horizon.
Well.
The party boy.
Yeah, the Summer Eladrin. Yeah, the Summer Eladrin, who was very unhappy with how you treated him, mind you. But you could certainly, maybe you could go and ask. You could try and get more intelligence out of him, try and read his mind, or find a way to use him to do this.
You certainly have more knowledge of the Fae than Rosemeadow would.
He might be able to tell you if Rosemeadow is a creature from the Fae. Like, he might just be able to say, like, oh yeah, Centaur, yeah, that's from the Feywild. It's from Lunaria.
Well, that's another good lead. I say we start there whilst Quill is beak deep in a book.
Sure.
Beak deep in a book?
I'm gonna check in on this. So let me just check over plans so that I can prepare for next week. So you want to talk to the Summer Eladrin, that's like a thing that you want to do. You want to try and dive into Rosemedow's mind, or like find some sort of way to connect with Rosemeadow?
Some way onto the plane again.
That was a whimsical Lucius thought experiment.
Okay.
Can we shrink ourselves down, go inside Rosemedow's ear, and then like have a little
explore her brain?
Yeah.
Being Rosemeadow.
Wow.
Being John Rosemeadow.
Have a Rosemeadow brain episode.
I imagine it's very sparkly.
Rhiannon, let me tell you this. if a player says, can we do an episode or can we do a session where we go inside an NPC's brain by shrinking ourselves down, I'm pretty sure every dungeon master in the world will say 100% yes, you can do that, because that would be a lot of fun to write. You could do that if you want to.
Can it be like a magical sparkly adventure?
I can't imagine.
It's like
Can
you imagine Rose Meadows'
Green.
mind? Can you imagine that?
I can, because I can see
have
things that
access.
Mark.
You know I have access to the My Little Pony RPG, and I could just be like,
We
playing
just play that.
Kirsty. Yeah, like 100%. That's how I would manage it. By the way, just so you guys know, I'd be like, fuck your normal characters. You're playing these. This is you now. Like we're playing this system.
So what other ideas do we have?
So other ideas. So talk to some Madrin.
Potentially infusing a crystal on the Wayfinder's Guide with
Fey magic somehow.
Fey magic, and using that to teleport there directly.
If you can give me a rough idea of either a source of Fey energy you want to try and use, or if you're just like, we want to try and find one, that's also fine. If you just say we want to try and find something, and then we can do that.
I'll try and figure that one out.
Yeah.
Sure.
I have well, one thing is to buy a sequester scroll, and the other thing is but I don't know really if I can ask this, because obviously Nova is off stage at the moment.
Yeah, you can ask us Kim, and then we can sync up. Yeah.
Well, imagine in catching up with everyone, that mention of archways would, would make Nova think of Callie's Rest and the archway underneath the cathedral, whether or not that is a potential way, because it opened a portal to what I presume.
I'm going to save you some time, because Nova would remember this. You remember that, like, you asked, like, for it to be investigated, and there was no sign of an archway. Like, it was taken from Callie's Rest, and it's like it left just an empty cavern. And you remember that because you asked, like, go beneath Callie's Rest, go beneath the Abbey, you'll find this thing, and they were like, we couldn't find anything. There's nothing there.
Yeah, I forgot that bit.
That's fine.
Well, I guess maybe.
But that means, I'll tell you one thing that Nova would realize, means Callus knows where there's an archway, at least one.
You know, I'm going to share this with you now, because I did have a thought about halfway through this episode where I was like, could I speak to Callus and say, what would it take for you to give a safe passage to Lunaria?
Yeah,
and I was going to think about doing a little offer behind everybody's back. Yeah, behind every.
Oh, you were going to betray the party. Oh,
for love.
Betrayal, is it? It's like a kind of like sneaky plan. Yeah, for love.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, but just let me know exactly when you're doing that.
A betrayal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And how many missiles you'd like sent your way.
Well, I just went crazy.
I'm just saying. You know that Callus has at least one archway, at least.
But the thing is, he's going to want Valor, and he's not going to get Valor, so. infuse thing with Fey energy, or find out where you can get some Fey energy from. Any other plans?
That's it from me.
All right.
Yeah.
That's still some stuff that I can work off. So we can work off that. We're actually going to end a little bit early this week, just because I was actually really struggling for what to do for today's session. So I came up with a little bit, and boy howdy, we got a session out of it. So I haven't got anything else.
Like boy howdy.
Yeah. Like 2 hours, you put a message in Discord that says like, what are we doing today? and this was the episode that came out of it. Like, holy crap.
This is the episode that came out of it.
Cool.
Oh, it was so good.
I had the faith. Yeah. I had the faith. That's why I didn't say anything, because I was just like, I've got the faith.
However, I will make a point. Imagine how differently this session would have gone if Kim had succeeded on that saving throw.
That's a good point.
That was my favorite natural one so far.
That was the best.
I think that is an incredible example of, in D&D, failing stuff can lead to a better story than if you succeed.
Absolutely.
We would never have gotten that amazing, super emotional moment and super cool story that really hammers in that this isn't a black and white case of like, Thalia says she was bad, but how bad? No, she was fucking bad. And now there's this great thing of like, we still want to help her,
it.
Right?
Yeah.
And like it gives it so much more impact because of a failed role. So never despair. Like, I know it's frustrating to like miss on attack rolls. Obviously, that's a very different scenario. But for stuff like that, I love it when you can get a cool failure like that as well. And also, Tom,
the perfect
good friend.
Yeah.
So Tom rolled on this madness table. His role was the character regards something, usually the source of madness, with intense revulsion as if affected by the antipathy effect of the antipathy sympathy spell. What a perfect result for that scenario as well.
Yeah.
It was incredible. Like, some of the other results would have just been nowhere near as good.
Also,
really
we
weird
shouldn't
ones,
shouldn't at all discount the rolls were amazing, but Kim, that was some fucking killer roleplay, man. That's so
very
good.
Oh, did I make you feel something, Tom?
Oh, something in there stirred for a second, and then it was shut down.
Yeah, shut down. Bury that. Bury it down. You saw it like weakly. The little lid on his heart was just like, please, Tom, no, get down. No.
That's when I know it's good.
The weak little feeble creature is
like,
please, I want to feel, Tom.
And is Rose Meadow a fey creature? Who knows? Chat fucking was screaming about it for half the episode, but there we go. We got there in the end.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. They're also screaming that this was my fault. I don't have portent from the fight. I don't have any portent rolls.
How is it your fault?
Because he didn't
I didn't use portent. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't have any rolls.
Nice.
Bastard.
Well, that's going to be it for this week. We're going to end a little bit early. There is no Parsec Pals, I believe, on today. So you've got a free evening. May I recommend, it doesn't start for another 30 minutes. It doesn't start until 8:30. Please go check out my buddy Joe Fudge. He does a D&D show. He's got Stripping in it. And a bunch of other awesome people called Godforged. It's on at 8:30. We can't raid it. I tried to raid it the last time we did it, but it was like 30 minutes too early. Go check out Joe Fudge's Twitch channel. He's a really lovely chap as well. And you might see me appearing in one of his games soon. So that's exciting. Yeah. So he's got a very cool campaign setting, a homebrew campaign setting, which I might be being part of. So
very interesting.
Cool. Nice. Well, let's read out some messages.
Yes, read out some messages. We had a donation from Varys, $10 dues and no donation as no message. Sorry, thank you very much, Varys. Being Wolfie with a half underrooney, and they say my first payslip came in, and I want to spread it around the people I believe helped me get here. Thank you very much, Being Wolfie. Thank you very, very much indeed. Thanks. Morrigan Blackwood has donated with hi rollers. Had a rough year and a lost passion for my interests, but that's slowly easing, so finally able to return to Aerois. Binge was primo. Back working on my sourcebook and game, but dynamic lighting a 115 by 115 labyrinth is very tedious. Sad girl, clear skies. Thank you very much, Morrigan Blackwood. Tag 7647 with a half hundo. Clear skies from Montana. First time watching live, started with episode 1 a month and a half ago. You are all amazing. Thanks for bringing this wonderful show to life and job to our lives. Wait, thanks for bringing this wonderful show to life and to our lives. There it is. Thank you. Thanks, 7647. And welcome. Die Cheese has said, sadly have to bail for the second half and catch up later. That's okay. It's on YouTube and podcast as well. I bought my kittens some new toys, but out of all the money I spent, the $1 catnip brown paper bag seems to be their favorite. That is the way, Tai Cheese, that is the way.
Is it for Angus, Katie, toilet rolls?
Oh, toilet roll tubes. No, not even that. Single sheet of kitchen roll, 2 hours of entertainment. Easy.
Love it. Yeah. Lazy Dragon Live has donated again with don't look at me, I'm fine, I'm not crying, you're crying. Can I get a hug from Sentry, please? This episode was not good for ye old depression. Fucking hell. Sorry about that. Lazy Dragon Live.
Sentry hugs for everybody.
Sentry hugs all round. Seren has donated. Remember when we were excited for this week? Yeah.
Well,
regrets.
I mean, be excited. Regrets. Yeah, a bit of trauma makes it all the sweeter when the players win, you know?
Yeah. Crispy with a half hundo. Oh my God. What an amazing episode. So many feels, so much fantastic role-playing. Thank you all. Looking forward to next week. Thank you very much. Fail has donated. Oh my God. 5 question marks. That was amazing. The RP was everything. I had a big old cry and a fantastic time. Also, yay, the Snex Babs will live. There you go. And Daft Day 41. Hang on. Let me just pre-read this. Okay. Will Tom read anything that is put in front of him? Buy a Reynard pin. Use code HighRollers for 10% off. Maybe.
I don't know if that works anymore.
Yeah,
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
It does still work.
Okay.
Okay, good. Dark skies and cold weather from Dublin. Thank you for your weather report, Daft Day 41.
Thanks.
Also, Tom, did you notice that
hello?
I was wearing my Reynard pin this whole time? I went and pinned it on during the dun-duns.
Oh, that's nice. So you can look. Everyone can do that.
Look, you can.
Prop just showed his as well.
Yeah.
I've got windows over this entire screen now. I can show I can show mine. Whoops.
Mine's back there.
Lazy Dragon Live with a quarter hundo in gifted subs. Recall a hundo gifted subs. Being Wolfie with 5 gifted subs. Dragonfire 10. Penny Dragon Games. Rapidly Rainer and Hog Junkie with 10 gifted subs. Thank you for all the gifted subs. Trumpole.
Thank you very much.
And MK13 Wolf gave some bits. MK13 Wolf gave quarter hundo in bits, and they say, I figured out how to defeat the curse in 2 easy steps, you guys. Step 1, the power of love. The first step was realizing the power of love is useless to break the curse of this magnitude. Step 2, the power of incredible violence.
Thank you.
We also had some Yog donos, one from Olarenve with no message, thank you. No Jeans also had no message, thank you very much. Yellow Hat Stealer, first time donating. I've been on VOD Squad for months and will still be there for a bit since I'm only on episode 81. But still here is a bit of money for you for now. Thank you. P.S. Tell Tom he's a stinky bird boy. Ace of Thorns has donated with that moment was like that reaction video to the bunny scene in The Last of Us. Great to have you back, Hugs. Thank you. And sub message of the week from Nightjar was from Zephyr, and it says, "Love you, but still mad you killed me."
Oh, okay. Yeah,
sorry, Zephyr.
Nice.
Sorry about that.
Sorry, Zephyr. She's okay. She's all right about it. Don't worry.
She's fine.
I speak for
now.
Zephyr.
Chill.
Yeah.
She's chill. She's still good. It's still fun. Cool.
There you go.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. Once again, a huge thank you to both of our sponsors, D&D Beyond and Mag of Holding. We really appreciate the support. Go and check out both of those things when you can, using the links.
Do it now. You've got plenty of time.
Do it now. You've got loads of time.
Yeah.
We will see you next week for more High Rollers D&D. Until then, take care. We love you. Goodbye.
Goodbye,
Bye, bye, bye,
everybody.
bye, bye.
Bye, 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 bye.